Good morning to you and welcome to the AM show. Now, I want to ask you a question. This morning, have you found time to say thank you to God for bringing you to another day? Have you had that time? If you haven't, just spare some moment to thank Him, because it is not everybody that has been, graced enough to see a new day, but you have. And we are made to understand that when we show appreciation, there are more doors open to us. And the Bible even enjoins us to thank Him in all things. So why not spare that few minutes of your time to say thank you, because He's granted you another 24 hours for you to impact this world. So do that. Now, we're glad that you could join us this morning here on the show. Let's take you through how the morning will be. And, of course, we'll bring you matters arising this morning. And in the matters arising, the NPP says it will petition the Chief Justice over concerns that its Bono Regional Chairman, Abronye DC, may not get a fair trial. Now, you remember that yesterday he got, bail. But the NPP is saying because of the attitude they've seen in this particular process, they cannot trust that he will get fair trial. Questions come up around judicial independence, political prosecutions or persecutions as reported, and confidence in the justice system. Is this a matter of due process or politics entering the courtroom? We'll find out when our guests assemble. Also, years after Ghana's financial sector cleanup, GN Savings and Loans has been restored to Dr. Papa Kwesi Indom. And this is because yesterday the court ruled that his license must be reinstated. You remember that in the lead up to the 2024 presidential elections, Dr. Papa Kwesi Indom petitioned then candidate John Mahama that when he wins, he has to try and restore licenses of banks that were collapsed unjustly. Keyword is unjustly. So yesterday the court decided that, well, he was closed unjustly, and so his license must be restored. What are the wider implications for the cleanup exercise? Investor confidence and affected customers will delve into this. And with Parliament preparing to adjourn, renewed efforts are underway to push through the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, widely known as the LGBTQ bill. Will the legislation finally cross the line, or are legal and constitutional hurdles still standing in the way? You remember that in the past, legal hurdles were reasons why the president then, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, could not sign, because some people were at the Supreme Court challenging the constitutionality of this matter and some aspects of it. Well, the Supreme Court dealt with the matter, and so now the way is clear. But there are still questions that linger. Will there still be legal hurdles that this particular legislation has to cross? We'll delve into it this morning. Now, joining us for breakfast this morning is Deputy Communications Officer of the NDC, Akufo-Addo, widely predicted to be the communications officer of the party. We'll see how it goes. The Director of Legal and Constitutional Affairs of the United Party, lawyer Andrew Appiah-Dankwa, will be here in the studio. Dean of Accounting and Finance at UPSA, Professor Isaac Boadi, and former Deputy Director of the Public Procurement Authority, Kwame Prempe, will be here as well. We'll serve E-Corner on the show as well. This is Friday, and Career Diale will be here with the latest on showbiz. So do stay with us. And as we do start always, we start with the AM News with Denisia Poma AJ. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace, and I do this always with the ever beautiful MFA Akufo-Addo. Wherever you are, however you're watching or listening, we say we are grateful that you could allow us this chance in your morning and in your day. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll take a break and we'll start with Denisia Pomeje with that one. As we say, Infante Akwaba. Do stay with us.
Hello, good morning, and welcome aboard to the AM News. My name is Denisia Pomeje, and our very first story. Education stakeholders in the Central Region have launched a Stop SHS Sports Hooliganism campaign ahead of future inter-school sports competitions to address the violence that marred sporting activities during the previous academic year. According to the stakeholders, the initiative is aimed at promoting peaceful coexistence, restoring discipline, and ensuring sanity during school sports activities across the region.
Sports activities among senior high schools in the Central Region over the past year have been marred by violence, prompting education stakeholders to embark on a peace campaign aimed at changing the narrative. At the official launch of the Stop SHS Sports Hooliganism campaign, the headmaster of Adankwaman Senior High School and campaign champion, Nana Bafweje, explained that the initiative seeks to foster respect and inclusion during school sporting activities.
This campaign is built on 3 core pillars. Respect for opponents. We win humility and lose in grace. An opponent is a partner in the game, not an enemy to be despaired. Safety and inclusion. Every student, regardless of their affiliation, should feel safe and welcome at any festival. Hooliganism has no place where we want to foster a sense of belonging.
The assistant headmaster in charge of domestic affairs at Assin State College, Augustus Donto, also highlighted the effects of sports-related violence on schools.
School sports benefit all of us, especially communities, host communities, because now people have formed certain images and perception about certain communities, giving them the hostile tag, the violent tags, because of incidents of school hooliganism. Schools have also gotten the names of being peaceful, being welcoming, being friendly, because of school sports. So the benefit is not only to the participating schools, but to the whole nation.
Deputy Central Regional Director of Education, Harriet Ojura Aidan Sego, urged the students to reflect on the long-term consequences of violent behavior.
I keep telling students anytime I have the opportunity, what you are doing now, if in future your attention is drawn to it, will you be happy about it? There are people who are busy paying the internet to scrap off certain things they have said because they are fighting for certain positions and it will go against them. What impression are you even giving about your school, about your country, and about your region? So the regional director of education would want me to tell everybody, let's respect ourselves, have a good attitude towards our opponents, respect the rules of the games that we engage in, and think about the future.
Adding his voice to the campaign, parish priest at St. Louis Parish in Asindaman, Reverend Father Cyril Arthur, pledged the support of the clergy towards the campaign.
As religious leaders, we also plead and we also pledge that we shall support this no hooliganism in sporting activities in our school, and we will support with our prayer, we will support with all the resources we have as religious institutions.
From Asindaman, Abigail Esol-Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
From the Central Region, let me take you to the Upper West Region. Landing at Wa Airport should be a routine, but pilots are dodging birds, livestock, and open ways to land safely. Aviation officials warn a near miss could soon become a tragedy. Stakeholders are now calling for demolitions, a farming ban, and also arrest. Joy News' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Landing in Wa shouldn't feel like dodging birds, goats, and sheep. But right now, the runway here is fighting a daily battle with wildlife, waste, and encroachment. That's why the Ghana Airports Company Limited brought everyone to one room in Wa. Aviation officials, chiefs, and local government sat down to tackle what they call an escalating safety crisis.
Around the airport, you know, it's a waterlogged area, and there are a lot of grain farming, rice, maize, and all this attract the birds close to the runway, and they come in their numbers.
The danger spikes when farming moves too close. Rice and maize fields around the airport are pulling in flocks of over 300 birds at a time.
It will surprise you that you can count over 300 birds at one side of the airport. And it takes a very short seconds for the bird to get close to the runway. It's worrying us. So the appropriate authorities should also consider that one. Like the waterlogged area, the farming activity there is also worrying us a lot.
For journalist Suala Abdul Wahab, who have covered WA for years, the risk is personal. He recalled a 2008 scare involving a former vice president's flight.
When he was leaving, we had information leaked that a boat nearly crossed the runway. It was a serious problem. And the following week, we went around with the MCE there to mark some houses to be demolished. As we speak now, the houses are still there. And secondly, more houses are still.
A former Wa District Chief Executive and now Paramount Chief of the Buha Traditional Area, Nasir Pelpo Ali Yelmana, pointed to 1996 when Wa went from the dirtiest town in Ghana to the neatest in 2 years.
In 1996, what was declared the dirtiest town in the country. But later in 1998, it became the neatest town in the country. That was because of enforcement. Possibly things have changed because of the increase in population, but it's still something that can be done with the support of all. So let's all put our children to the wheel and then work hard to improve the situation.
Our Powers Minister, Charles Wunga says the bigger problem is the political interference.
Influential people are shielding relatives from sanitation fines and is putting the whole region at risk.
We are the problems. Those of us who sit here who are heads of department issues. Where is the first person who arrests? It is one of you who called, the MC. This one is my relative. My wife's something called me. So sometimes we say it in public, but we're all hypocrites. As you said, there can be collaboration with all of our resources, but until the attitude of the Upper West now, those of us who live here change, nothing will happen. After you do the intervention, the next day the fellow is the one even on social media complaining about crime. But when it was his relative, he ran to you, then let him go.
Charles Bongo Posing asked the ACL for wastegate.
Even if we were to get a donation of 5 or 10 up of these things to these assemblies, then it can prevent indiscriminate dumping of things at different sites. Because, for example, if somebody goes out, these things are not widespread. The nearest place he throws it away, look left, look right, nobody is coming, they will throw the polythene with them.
Director, Airport Management at GACL, Kojo Abrifasakodiye, pencil it for consideration.
We sometimes support some of this engagement. I remember in Kumasi, Asopere they were having some drainage issue, so we provided some financial support for them to do some desilting and all that. So we'll go back and look at it. But I also plead with you as the head of the regional coordinating council, if there is a way that waste management can be prioritized in your budget allocation.
For the airport, the demands are clear. Demolish encroachments, ban all farming activities near the runway, and also enforce sanitation bylaws. Reporting for the news, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, health experts are warning that kidney disease is becoming a growing health concern in Ghana, with many cases going undetected until the later stages. At the annual conference of the Ghana Association of Radiologists, specialists called for stronger collaboration among healthcare professionals to improve early diagnosis and treatment. Martha Sewa-Boache has more in the following report. Read to you.
Professionals are raising concern over the increasing number of kidney disease cases in Ghana, with lifestyle habits and environmental pollution cited as major contributing factors. At the annual conference of the Ghana Association of Radiologists, experts stressed the need for a coordinated, team-based approach to healthcare delivery. President of the Ghana Association of Radiologists, Dr. Francis Ofer, says closer collaboration between clinicians, radiologists, nephrologists and neurologists is critical to improving patient outcomes.
If we talk about radiologists, we make diagnosis or kind of figure out what is wrong with patients through the use of imaging modalities. So you hear of CT scan, you hear of MRI, ultrasound, etc. So in the normal practice, we have several disciplines. You have the clinicians who are in the consulting rooms. So they also try to manage the patient. But we have realized that most of the time this approach is in silos, i.e. the clinician is doing their own thing, the radiologist is also doing their own thing, everybody is doing one thing or the other. I think that it is time for us to now resort to what we call multidisciplinary approach. So we are focusing on the genitourinary system and emphasizing the need for us to work together. The ultimate beneficiary is the patient that benefits. Okay, so we are looking at that tract from your kidneys, the ureters, the bladder, and then the urethra. And then the studies that are coming up is linking the contribution of galamsey to the rising tide of chronic kidney disease.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Kidney Association, Dr. Charlotte Osafo, says kidney disease often shows no symptoms in its early stages, making regular screening and early detection crucial.
From kidneys to urethra, the genitourinary system is a continuum. Let our care of it be a continuum as well. Integrated, coordinated, patient-centered. The advice that I want to give to the public is that kidney disease is no respecter of person. If you have been diagnosed with kidney disease, you need to be careful what you take in, and then also you need to make sure that you are regularly visiting the hospital so that if something is seen early, then that can be managed. Let's drink a lot of water. Let's make sure that we check our blood pressures. If it's high, control it. Check your sugar regularly. If it is high, make sure that you are controlling it. Avoid painkillers, avoid herbal medications, and then eat well.
The health experts are urging the public to prioritize regular medical screening while calling for a stronger collaboration among specialists to improve kidney disease care and save lives. Martha Sawabwachi's report, read to you.
The Ghana National Association of Driving Schools is calling on the government and the Ministry of Transport to intensify driver education and strictly enforce mandatory training through accredited driving schools. The appeal follows concerns raised by the National Road Safety Authority, which attributed the growing number of road accidents and fatalities largely to human behavior and driver negligence. More in the following report.
National Road Safety Authority, in an address to the media on April 7, 2026, identified human factors as a key cause of increasing road crashes and deaths recorded across the country. The development has prompted the Ghana National Association for Driving Schools to intensify calls for comprehensive driver training nationwide. Speaking during the visit to the office of the National Chief Imam, the association's General Secretary Ali Wahab reiterated the importance of enforcing road safety laws to improve driving standards.
Road safety has caused this nation a lot, and it's time that we intensify driver education to avert that narrative. If we don't do our possible best, the carnage on the road will never stop. The LI 2180 also states that when you want to renew your license, you still have to go for a refresher course. If the court finds you that during the course of your driving, they deem it necessary that you need a training, the court also allows you to go back to the training. But how effective is this thing happening? So this is the time that we want to call on the government, the Ministry of Transport, to make sure that all these laws are triggered, to make sure that driver education will not go down the drain.
The National Administrator of the Association, Emmanuel Anoba, also stressed the importance of proper driving education through certified driving institutions.
It's very necessary that every would-be driver goes through the right training. Now, on the road, there are a lot of factors. We have other road users too. You need human judgment to be able to tell that somebody behind you is going at this top speed. Perhaps something is wrong with him. So if you are defensive enough, you allow the person to pass. The driver training school, we do all these things. We take you through all those aspects. When you want to drive, go to a certified driving school. A driving school that is certified by the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority.
Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuhu Shaributu, widely recognized for his advocacy for road safety and national peace, endorsed the association's call for improved driver training. He offered prayers for the association and called for unity, peace, and collective responsibility in ensuring safety on the roads.
Whatever would be beneficial or would be very good for the nation, may God help you do. Whatever is unacceptable, may God avoid it. The National Chief Imam is praying that the peaceful atmosphere we are enjoying, he's praying that may the other neighboring countries around us also see that light and live peacefully.
The Ghana National Association of Driving Schools believes that strengthening driver education, enforcing refresher training for license renewals, and ensuring all motorists pass through certified driving institutions will play a critical role in reducing road accidents and improving safety on Ghana's roads. For Joy News, Mavis Kabuko's report read to you.
Well, it's time for some business news. The Hunter Pili, Samuel Kujibris, will bring us that right after this breather.
Let's do business updates now. And business groups at the country's port have thrown their support behind the Ghana Shippers Authority amid growing tensions with some international shipping lines over regulatory measures within the country's shipping and logistics sector. The group described the move as unfortunate and harmful to national economic interests, insisting that shipping companies operating in Ghana must comply with the country's laws and regulatory framework. Here's President of GUTA, Clement Boateng, speaking to Joy Business.
Our people go to pay the 760. They said no, they will not accept it. So they have instituted a legal action of injuncting the 720 cedis until the final determination of the case is made. And the first hearing of the case is coming on tomorrow. And that is the more reason why we have held this press conference, that Ghana is a sovereign country, and any investor who comes to operate Ghana here must operate under the laws of the country. And Shippers Authority is mandated. They are the regulators of the shipping industry. So why is it that they have come out with a figure and you people don't want to adhere to it? So we are saying we are in full support of Shippers Authority, and we are calling on the President and the Transport Minister to make sure that Shippers Authority exercise its mandate so that these people cannot take us for a ride. So that is the import of the whole matter.
Now, banking consultant Nana Otua-Champon says the restoration of the license of GN Bank could trigger similar demands from other financial institutions affected during Ghana's financial sector cleanup exercise. According to him, the development could have far-reaching implications for the country's banking sector. Speaking to Joy Business, Nana Otua-Champon noted that any move to reinstate revoked licenses must be carefully managed to preserve confidence and stability within the financial sector.
As you know, it wasn't only GN savings and loans that was affected. There was quite a number of them, both at the universal bank level, at savings and loans level, finance houses level, and even coming down to microfinance. The only sector that was not affected was rural banks. They were ring-fenced. And therefore, if this ruling stands, no two court cases are the same anyway. The others that, Section 123 affected them may also want to follow suit and then see if they can have their licenses restored. So I think it's got a very extensive implication for the financial services sector.
And that's how we wrap up the business update. Back to you, Denicia.
Thank you, Ahanta Pili, Samuel Kujibrace, for bringing us business. Don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Shell Silicon Paint from Mazar Group, Syntex Pipes, and also Time Herbal Mixture. For more news, please do log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely Friday.
All right, welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to delve into the news segment, news review segment. But let's look at what the papers are reporting before I bring in my guest. Now, if today we have the Daily Guide newspaper, we have the Custodian, we have the Daily Graphic, we have the New Finder and the Insight newspaper. Of course, let me start with the Daily Graphic. On the front page, Forestry Commission sets up camps to protect forest reserves. It's on page 13. You can get the details of that. Banner headline, GN Savings and Loans License Restored, Court of Appeal ruling. Now, the details is that the Court of Appeal has unanimously restored the license of GN Savings and Loans Company Limited. That was after a 3-member panel of the Second Highest Court quashed the decision of the High Court, which upheld the revocation of the license on the grounds that the decision was unfair and unreasonable. By the judgment, both the decision to revoke the license and the High Court decision to uphold same have been quashed. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, don't ban second-hand clothing, address the waste, landfills, 2 landmarks co-founder says, and break elite state capture to bolster development, Professor Mauko Yavuga has said. Now, so that is that. Now, Ghana is Ebola free. That's from the Insight newspaper. Ghana is Ebola free. Health Minister assures calls on Ghanaians to stay alert and practice good hygiene. So that's the last time I had a call from someone who was saying that we should be finding out what our preparedness is like now. The minister has come out. He says we should practice good hygiene. So the hand washing that we used to do those days, we should start again. Parliament cracks down on SOE accountability. Details are on page 5. Somalia's future leadership debate brings Mohammed into spotlight. Wow. So that's what Mohammed. I'm sure that's how the name will be like. Now, Cuba condemns U.S. indictment of Raul Castro as pretext for aggression. Moroccan police interrogate left leaders for opposing normalization with Israel. And GN Savings and Loans will bounce back bigger and better. Indum assures after court victory. Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper now. Now, the minority demand probe into Dumso. That's from the Daily Guide. Minority demand probe into Dumso. That's after the Parliament, resumed sitting yesterday. Restored GN Savings and Loans license and assets. BOG ordered. Abronye freed on 100,000 cedis bail. And police chases Arabic teacher for defiling 2 boys. Details on page 6 of the paper. TikToker arrested over Muhammad death threats. So that's also on page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper. Let's do the Custodian newspaper. NPP to petition CJ over judge's misconduct in Abronye case. NPP to petition CJ over judge's misconduct in Abronye case. This is one of the issues on our table this morning. Stop NDC from grabbing NPP project. Baumia urges minority. That's after he met them ahead of the resumption of the House yesterday. Affair marking fires NDC government over suffering farmers, doomsday, political persecution, and failed governance. That's from his speech in Parliament when the House reconvened yesterday. And Garmanche praises Gold Board for protecting Ghana's gold sector. That is to Akogan's boss in the communication area. I mean, his soon-to-be predecessor. Sami JV is doing some magic at Gold Board. So Garmanche is praising him and the Gold Board for the wonderful work they're doing in protecting Ghana's gold sector. Details are on the back page of the paper. Now, on the same back page of the Custodian, banks may reject some forex deposits soon, according to Gideon Boako. I saw that post on Facebook yesterday. Get details on the paper, on the back page of the Custodian newspaper. Ghana's digital city target cross-border trade, financial integration. That's according to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Okay. And the final one is a new finder on the front page. GN Bank is back, court orders, and BOG will fix BOG will not fix CD rate. Governor says GSE reward investors over 71% returns in financial stocks. And Film Development Fund launched to boost Ghana's movie industry. Lending rates fall to 17.33%. Wow, that's some good news there for industry. Okay, so that's let's start. Let me introduce to you my guest this morning, Deputy Communications Officer of the NDC, Deputy National Communications Officer of the NDC, Akogan is here. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, bro.
Trust all is well.
Yeah, everything is fine.
I am told you are the incoming successor.
If the time comes, I'll show up.
You show up?
Yes.
All right. Let's see how that goes. We'll show the best then.
Thank you very much.
Director of Legal and Constitutional Affairs of the United Party, Andrew Piadankwa Esquire. Good morning.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a while, my friend.
Yeah, long time.
How's business?
I thought we didn't from.
All well with the industry?
No.
You have the National Deputy Communications Officer here, so tell him.
Yeah, no. And,
okay.
And like it's not about in any party. I think there's a general issue. There are a lot of general issues with the system. It's not that a party.
Okay.
To address them and do with them.
Okay, so that's it there. Nana Prempe used to be the Deputy CEO of State Housing, right?
No, PPA, public procurement.
Oh, yes, of course. The last time we met was about talking about PPA.
Yes.
How well as well?
Oh, by God's grace.
Great.
Everything is going fine.
How's opposition treating you?
We are managing. But if you look at how the country is going, it's very difficult.
Oh, I asked about how opposition is treating you.
But sir, we are in a position in this country, so I have to say about what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's Nana Prempe there. Professor Isaac Bodi is the Dean for the Accounting and Finance Faculty at UPSA. Prof, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I hope all is well.
Very well.
Okay. All right. Let's delve into our issues. Let's start with the NPP set to petition the CJ over judges' misconduct in Abronye's case. Now, the NPP has served notice to petition Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni on Friday, May 22, that's today, over what they described as misconduct on the part of the judge who presided over the Circuit Court 9 in the case involving the party's Borno Regional Chairman, Mr. Kwame Bafo, popularly known as Abronye DC. The main opposition party said it decided to take this action because of what it considered to be unfair treatment of Abronye during the legal proceedings, particularly his remand into custody over the past 9 days. Okay, well, this one I'll start with the party's person here, Nana Prempe. Nana, that is we know that for all legal matters, the court need to sit over it and then adjudicate it. In adjudicating, there are several processes that the court will use to do that. And one of them is what the judge used. Why has it become a matter that your party says the judge was unfair, such that you have to go to the CJ?
Okay. Let me say a very good morning to the viewers.
and to you and my co-panelists and everybody in the studio. And also bring a good morning from Dr. Abronye to all Ghanaians. He says hello. My brother, if you look at the case very well, if you look at the fact that it took several days for the judge to even bring out, the ruling, it begs the question whether he can be fair moving forward. Because I don't know why, I think the ruling was about 5 pages, 4 pages. If you look at, it's about 4 pages.
About 4 or 5, I think.
Yes. And it took so many days for him to bring it out while Abronye was in custody. It was deliberate to keep him there, to show him where the power lies. And I think with such a judge, as my General Secretary is saying, we can't move on with such a judge. And it's becoming far too many.
But how do you describe it as deliberate when the man is following legal processes?
Oh, but we are in this country. We know the legal process. It doesn't take this number of days to bring out this simple, document. Especially when people have been requesting for it since the day, and deliberately delaying while the man is in custody, waiting for bail. This thing could have been resolved. I don't think it should have been taking more than 1 day to resolve this, so that we can appeal and then get the bail, conditions met. So if you look at how the case have gone, and if you look at even the case he's been accused of, this should not be something that has to be, he has to go to jail for. Because if you remember, I think in 2020, the current Attorney General also criticized the ruling, after the election petition. He also said that, it looks like the judge had a predetermined outcome, which is similar to what Abronye said. And he was only charged for contempt, and he was made to apologize. And that was it. We moved on. So how come in Abronye's case, he's being dragged through the courts, he's being put in, BNI cells for all these days, just to show him where power lies. So if you go through how Abronye is being treated, and especially by this court, and if you've also listened to what the minority leader also said, it means this judge cannot be trusted, with the case. And we have to ensure that we move on to a very impartial judge who can look at this case critically and then judge it and put where law is supposed to, to be put. Because we are in this country where if you see what is happening to NPP members, I think we must all be worried. We must all be worried. Because it looks like an NPP member cannot criticize a court in this country anymore. Where in the past, everybody, not only NDC members, had the privilege to criticize the court when they saw fit. And you don't have to go through this process. So for me, I agree with my General Secretary that we are going to petition the courts and this judge must be removed, and then we go to a different judge where we think that the rule of law will be respected.
But you're not the one who will assign the court and the judge. How are you then sure that you will get a judge which you describe in your mind as impartial?
Oh, but at least this one, we know where he stands.
Okay, so you just want him to get out of that.
We know where he stands. If a dog does not want to bite you, it will show you his teeth. It's not also as we say it in our language. So he has showed us where he stands. So we must move on to somebody who, at least from the onset or from the outside, will be impartial.
Okay.
And then that will be good for the case. And not only for Abronye or for NPP, for Ghana as a whole.
Okay.
So that we can get the rule of law, to work. And then we can start believing in the justice system again.
No, I'm grateful. Let me bring in Akogan before I bring in lawyer. Now, the argument is that, this is a case where the guy should have been given bail from the onset, but the judge didn't, and therefore they feel some unfairness has been done. Where do you stand?
Let me say a good morning to our cherished viewers, and also to add that where I am, I don't want to be seen as speaking for a judge or speaking for any institution, whether it is the police or whatever.
But at least do they have a point in the argument? That
you see, sometimes when you go to court, you have a case. You can be asked that, are you known to this court? First-time offenders, sometimes you can have some leniency and all that. But if it is repetitive, sometimes people want to protect their area and want to do things. But I am very careful because it can be somebody tomorrow.
Yes.
However, the NPP is behaving like some group of noisemakers who are living without remorse, based with the level of economic transformation that we are all feeling, and the level of development they can't fathom. And so they must do some things for people to know that they exist. And unfortunately for them they have no message and they have no rallying point. And so they are using this to galvanize their base to be seen and all that. Unfortunately, their base is suffering and the base is destroying their base. So all that they are doing is being politically influenced. Yes, the base is destroying your base. So you have to do something to galvanize your people. You just want to have a rallying point. However, on the main issue, what exactly is the NPP crying over? First of all, is it that Abronye has been arrested? Is that their issue? 2, is it that the law being used is a kick that must be thrown out? Or they are a special breed of people that must not be touched? The law can be used against some people, but not them. They are not clear in all these things that we are all discussing. You cannot tell exactly what the NPP is saying. You don't have a problem when somebody uses offensive words and all that. You don't have a problem. You see, morally, or as Ghanaians, or as the black people, there are some things that, forget about the law, it's unacceptable. So when some things occur, the first thing that the elders do is that, oh, let's go and beg, plead, and all those. Even in the court, there's opportunity for people to plead and all that. We are not seeing that from the NPP. It means that they endorse what is happening. And that is the most offensive part of all the noise that they are making. And I would have wished that Bawumia comes and say that this thing is unacceptable. However, let's be measured, and then lawyers have tender justice with mercy.
Temper justice with mercy.
Justice with mercy. These are some of the things that we had wanted to see from the...
Is the right thing temper or tamper? It's tamper, right? Tamper justice
with mercy. So these are some of the things that we had wanted to see, so that at least we will be on the same page. For me, I have... But
the same argument, will you agree with them when they also say that it means that in the past, when other people were doing same, you also supported that?
That is why I'm saying that. Me, I have Muntie 3. I'm one of Muntie 3. I have suffered it before, to understand. What was the position of the NPP? You understand? What was the position of NPP? And me, the last thing that I wish for even my worst enemy is to be hauled to prison or something like that. For instance, I spent 3 weeks in, in Sawan prisons, and a horrifying 1 week in Akusi. It's not something to laugh over. However, I wouldn't use my experience to say that let's leave it as it is, let's everybody... Free speech must be measured and controlled. That is a fact we can't deny. So in everything, even during our time, the owners of the frequency, owners of the station were all hauled to it. It wasn't a funny situation. And let me also add that I would plead with the institutions, be it the police service, be it the judiciary, that for me, there are some things that we shouldn't let people make noise over. Issues like granting bail, access to an offender, and all that. Where we are as a nation, we shouldn't make that an issue. You see, in politics, some negativities can turn to positivities. Let me use myself as an example. 2008, I contested for Deputy Regional Secretary. I lost. 2016, I contested Okaikwe North Parliamentary Primaries. I lost. Because of Munje 3, I contested for a higher position, Deputy National Communications. I won. Why? It's because people felt that, oh, he has suffered. People used emotions to galvanize support for me. Then it was 10 regions. I could only do 4 regions because I didn't even have money. I was not prepared. But I won that election. So sometimes you don't use some of these petty things to frustrate people or to destroy with the mindset of destroying that person. The person may even get support and be stronger than the person used to be. So I wouldn't condone those things. I'm happy as part of your topics for discussions, we are adding GN Bank and all those things. What these people are doing is to take our minds off the positivities that we are enjoying in this country and be talking about this one. It happened to us 2016. That is why I want to be...
What people? Which people are doing?
The NPP, I mean. The NPP.
But they go to
it's
court.
strategic. No, it's strategic. You understand? For instance, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2016 was constructing roads, was constructing hospitals, schools, airports, name them. We couldn't discuss those matters. We were at the peripherals, doing Papano, Akonfem, and all those things. It took over the shine, and NPP won. So we shouldn't, with this experience, we shouldn't go on that tangent and give them that room because, for instance, NPP, by now I should feel that they would have come out to even condemn the young man who said that if they arrest another person, he is going to burn the NDC headquarters. At least a statement should come from the NPP by now. Those things, the police should go in, arrest the young man, grant him all those courtesies, as in if he needs bail, he must have it. But those things must go to court. The youth organizer of NPP today, after all this mess that is going on, says that I am going to galvanize, I am going to weaponize my base and ensure that this nation becomes ungovernable. What they are doing, they don't, in the first place, they don't have the power to make this country ungovernable. Okay. You understand? However, these comments must not go unpunished. Okay. You understand? And if NPP is a progressive party, they should have come out, distancing themselves from this comment, and then see how best to plead with the police and all those things, or other political parties, to come around the table and see the best way that we can do. Because, listen, tarnishing people's hard-earned image, it's not a joke. And we must not just treat it like the way we are all treating it and making it feel like Abronye is this. Let me tell you a story and then I'll wrap up. I beg you. This is 30 seconds. I'm giving you a lot of time. Yes, I appreciate that. And I'm very grateful. You see, a whole national chairman of our party, Chairman Akufo-Addo, was hauled to court 88 times under NPP. The most painful one to me was when he went to do a surgery on his spine. So he pleaded with Odame, the then Godfrey, the then AG, that because of the spine, the surgery on my spine, I cannot make the next court date. He had that surgery in US. So he pleaded that adjourn the next court date for a month because the doctors want to see a progressive healing before I come. They refused. And because of that, Chairman Akufo-Addo could not even get a direct flight from US because he couldn't sustain the pain. So he had to take it 3 different airlines so that he can have some breaks intermittently before he gets to Ghana. When he got to Ghana, the most painful thing is that they said that Godfrey Odame didn't appear in court and said that he had to file something, he hadn't filed it. So if you knew you were not ready, at least postpone this date for a month.
Okay.
Look at the way Temo Ofosu-Ampofo works today. What's the Ofosu-Ampofo you knew yesterday and Ofosu-Ampofo
and that is Odame's fault.
No, you can decide to choose and pick. You understand? Because it is Ofosu-Ampofo, you don't care.
No,
and you say that is Odame's fault.
I'm asking.
I'm not the one to answer. But I know what my chairman went through at that time. Fine.
I'm asking, is it his fault? If that's what
I don't have a problem. But today,
it's a question.
No. Today,
I'm not
it can happen to you like it is happening to you now. You understand?
I'm just asking.
I don't have a problem. I don't want to conclude on anything.
Okay.
However, because it was not you then, and it is you now, you want the whole world to know. Okay. But you see, we can better tell our story.
Thank you.
And what we went through under Nanado.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Let me bring in Apia Dankoya. I mean, the reason the judge gave for remanding Abronye into custody was that he is likely to commit similar offense if he is released on bail. Then I ask, why not allow the person to go and die on his own sword?
Yeah, so let me wish I love you viewers a good morning. I wish my brother, whose party I formerly was a member, a good morning. Wish Akugan a good morning. Wish my professor brother here a good morning. I think it's a very interesting question you have asked. I think for me, everything that is happening begs a simple question: that all of us who claim we are doing politics, what fools us? Is the case that what fools us is our parochial, personal, political ambitions, or what fools us is our unalloyed commitment in fulfilling the purpose of our Constitution. So in plain terms, is our commitment towards the Constitution or our commitment towards our personal, partisan, political agenda? Because in 1990, all of us in Ghana agreed that, listen, we want to protect our lives. We want to protect our liberties. We want to protect our rights to pursue our own happiness. And so let's create a system that will guarantee us these. And that's the purpose for our 1992 Constitution. And we said clearly in that Constitution that one of the abiding principles that will guide our activities is...
forgive me. Your mic is still live.
Will guide this agenda is the principle of the rule of law. Now, so we went further and then created certain rights. One of those rights was the right to freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and then we also created institutions. And one of the critical institutions was the courts. And then the Constitution went further to then create jurisdictions for the courts, different kinds of jurisdictions. So you have original jurisdiction, you have appellate jurisdiction, you have supervisory jurisdiction, you have review jurisdiction, and place those jurisdictions in different courts. Now, first of all, when you talk about our right to free expression, we ought to understand that these are rights that are not fettered, that are not unfettered, as in they are not absolute. In fact, when you read Article 164, it gives you some of the fetters. One, that your right to free expression is fettered by national security interests, it's fettered by public order, by public morality, and the protection of the reputations, rights, and freedoms of others. So we ought to understand that. Then two, when you come to our courts, the Constitution recognizes that because we are humans, we make mistakes. You understand? And based on the mistakes that you make, you have a right to seek corrections within those institutions. You understand? And so we have lower courts and then we have superior courts. So for the lower courts, the High Court has what we call supervisory jurisdiction over those courts. So that when they make decisions which are so fundamentally wrong, errors, you can go and invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the High Court to quash them. You understand? Or if you think the decisions were made and there were issues with the procedure in terms of errors, you can go on on appeal. Now, also, in line with this liberties, the Constitution says, listen, first of all, we are all presumed innocent. You understand? And then we all have a right to bail over all offences. However,
in the Martin Pebu case,
over all offences. In fact, that was a constitutional provision. Martin Pebu just aided in giving interpretation to what the Constitution said.
Okay.
So it's a constitutional right.
Because before that judgment, Meda and Co, they were not giving bail to people, right?
But so that was said. So
the Constitution said that should be done.
It should be done, but it was not done. So what Martin Pebu did was to say that, listen, we are not fulfilling the terms of our Constitution. You get. But you ought to understand that also, in spite of all these, certain conditions have been granted in how bills are given. The first principle is that the grant of bail is at the discretion of the judge.
Yeah.
And the law went ahead to then prescribe the circumstances under which this discretion ought to be applied. One of the fundamental grounds is that, one, if the person has a high flight risk, you should not grant the person bail. So that simply means that the person is not somebody who you believe will run away. You understand? When we want him, he will come. And to that, so you must prove issues like he has a place of abode, he is working, and two, we don't want to grant somebody bail where we believe that the person is capable of committing more offences. But having said that, it's at the discretion of the judge. You understand? So, in the case of Abronye, the judge refused to grant Abronye bail, and he gave reasons. The reason being that, in his opinion, if he grants Abronye bail, Abronye is likely to commit the offense again, based on Abronye's record. You understand? I have my personal opinion. My personal opinion is because of the nature of the offense. My personal opinion. If I were the judge, I would have granted Abronye bail. Very, very, very understand. But if the judge, in his opinion, feels that he won't grant Abronye bail, and goes ahead and makes very serious statements that, listen, he's going to keep Abronye in until the end of the trial. That's what we were told happened in court.
Yeah.
And you believe that that statement was so fundamentally wrong. For me, the question you should ask myself, in how I react to this, must I react in a way that undermines this institution, whose focus is to preserve the purpose of our Constitution, or to take advantage of the processes the court itself has granted for errors to be dealt with? And so it is because of this, that's why I believe that the position that minority leader, Abronye, took, was a very disappointing position. And I question the interest of the New Patriotic Party in the actions that they want to take. Because they are free. They can decide. They are free to go and petition, what's it called, the CJ. But the question is, to what end?
The question then is, you were expecting them to use the same legal process to challenge your trial.
Yeah, you can invoke on the supervisory, because it's
jurisdiction. I wanted you to agree. So the question is that if they don't have the written judgment, can they go ahead to invoke the supervisory jurisdiction?
Superior Court. Listen. So the 5 days my brother is talking is way more than normal. We have been practicing for 18 years. You understand? And that's why sometimes when you are doing appeal, you do notice of appeal to indicate that I'm going to appeal. Sometimes it takes a very long time for you to get the records together. 5 days is very normal. Even the presidential case, they came and gave their judgment. How long did we get access to their reasoning? It happens all the time. It's normal. In Ghana here.
Those are complicated cases.
No, even in simple cases, I'm telling you, even in simple cases, it's because once the judge gives their judgment, it goes to the administrative wing of the judicial service. Yes, because mind you, there's a whole administration, that's a registry. It all goes there. I'm telling you, in Ghana, because, and it's not just about the judiciary. I've got discussion with you about the Social Commission. Yeah. That's why today I deliberately said, listen, this is not an issue that can be reduced to partisanship. There's a general problem when it comes to efficiency within our system. That's something to do with witch hunting or political witch hunting. You understand? Now, my disappointment stems from the fact that, in my opinion, I've said it there so many times. If you're a political party, you have an added duty. You have an added duty to help create the right political culture that will sustain this democracy. And because of that duty, in my opinion, you'll be doing a lot of injustice to this agenda, our collective agenda, if you act in a manner that undermines that culture. Because it's very disappointing that in all the manner in which free expression has been abused, because mind you, when I read Article 164, one of the key things is that there is a fetter, and one of the fetters is that you cannot use free speech to undermine somebody's or somebody's reputation. You can't do that. It is a fetter. You understand? So, where people have made communication in a manner that even goes against the party's own supposed values and ideals. For instance, when Abronye descended heavily on very senior members within their own party and in the country, against President Akufo, against what's called Anane, against what's called the Papa, Archbishop
Duncan Williams.
What was the party's position? Because when you're a political party, it does not mean that any, forgive my language, any reckless statement a party official makes must be supported by you. Because you have a higher obligation. That higher obligation, beyond you chasing power, is to help in the creation of the right political culture within this country. So what stops the party from calling their members to order when they've acted in a manner which is against or which goes contrary or which undermines the party's own value system? Because of what is happening, one of the most critical things that has happened is Ghanaians questioning the integrity and credibility of the New Patriotic Party as a political party based on how they've handled these similar issues in the past. Remember the case of the Julobi, what's it called?
Demonstration.
Demonstration. You understand? Which goes against a core value of, because mind you, there are a number of cases that elevated and established this as democracy. Famously, they are called the NPP cases. The June 4th case, the what's called
31st December
case, the 12th, and, there are a number of 4 or 5 which entrenched our democratic values, and almost all of them had to deal with our liberties. And it is disappointing that within the same generation, this same party will act in a manner that is contrary to the values that they themselves, as a party, led in creating by challenging those abuses in our courts.
But isn't it the same abuse they are challenging?
No, but I'm saying so those abuses we're talking about. So one, Julobi, the Julobi 48, that was one of the most blatant abuse of those rights. You recall that NPP's youth organizer mobilized people to go and attack, this Peace FM program, UTV program they're doing, what's his name? Kwame A Plus. You know what Kwame A Plus was, and he was expressing his view about the party. NPP youth organizers in Accra mobilized people to attack Kwame A Plus. You all recall that. That one of the reasons why a lot of the media houses today have very sophisticated security systems within the network is because of attacks by NPP members when people are expressing views which are unpalatable against NPP.
It's not too general.
No, it's not general. And I'm giving examples.
How many incidents?
Oh, a lot. Come on. I've mentioned Julobi. I've mentioned
let's stay with the media houses.
Even the media houses. So I'll use my example. The first day on radio, it was at Kasapa FM.
They attacked you.
And I was just speaking about extolling the virtues of Alan Chimantin. Well, in my opinion, and that's why I keep on saying opinion. In my opinion, Alan was the best person to lead the party at that time. You understand? Kwesi now in this station came with a phone pattern. Why? Because they were threatening him. That if who has he brought on the station to be airing his views. So I said I had to take the phone from him and give the people a very stern warning. At least I may look very gentle, but it's not anybody at all that you can cow into submission. What bigger abuse of or weaponization of government power than this? And you see, mind you, just one attack on any media house, just one attack on any media house or anybody from sharing their view should be treated as so grievous an offense within the framework of the purpose of this constitution. You understand? So that instead of what is happening, and I've shared my view, I think last time I shared my view, that if I'm the judge, I don't think this is an issue that Abronye should be denied.
Okay. All right.
But that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
But for me, instead of the discussion over the past 2 weeks being about how we are building institutions, or why there's a need for us to build institutions to entrench some of these liberties, and how we handle some of these rights, a chunk of the discussion was questioning the credibility of NPP and the political parties in general because of the fundamental lack of integrity.
But has it been about position? Has it been about?
That's what I said.
Has it been about questioning the party or the judge, the specific judge,
so
and the decision?
So NPP has been questioning, not even questioning the judge in terms of using the institutions. They've made this thing very personal. Because if you go by just the letter of the law, the judge has not done anything wrong.
Okay, all right.
Let me just analyze this.
Land, so I bring in Prof.
The reason I said I disagree with the judge's opinion, and I said I disagree with the judge's opinion, you understand, has to do with the spirit also of the law. And also I felt that if the judge has said, then he's not the first judge to have heard, a lot of judges err.
Yeah.
Put faith in the institutions we have created. You understand? But you don't make this thing personal. And then also, like I'm saying,
when the judge errs, they call it something.
So when the judge has erred, depending on the nature of the mistake, you can either invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the court, and so you go for orders like sexual right, or the other side is depending on the nature of the mistake, or you could have an appeal. You understand? But to end, I think that there's a need for our political parties to look at themselves and look at their rules in building this constitution. And you see, they should take positions that will entrench their credibility.
Thank you.
They shouldn't flip-flop on their positions depending on whether they are in power or whether they are in their position. And that's disappointing, especially with them people how they found out.
So Prempe and Akogan, this is to you. They say don't flip-flop. You take a decision based on where you stand.
Now that you've brought me in, if I can say one thing before, just one thing. You know, I think we have to look at you just mentioned my name. You see, we have to look at Abronye's case, this particular case, not per se that Abronye has insulted somebody, In this particular case, he was just, calling the judge a politician based on what the judge has ruled. So he was not just insulting the judge just like that. So let's look at the case and not the person that committed the case.
Okay.
Let's look at it in isolation. I've heard so many things that he insulted this, insulted that, and that, but that's not what happened.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nana. I'm grateful. Yeah, Prof.
Good morning to your viewers, my colleagues as well. I picked some very useful comment from Ako and lawyer as well. I'll mention this one, very useful comment. Is that the second case before the same judge? I may want to find out for clarity.
No,
is it the second case before the same judge?
No, there was an earlier. There was an earlier.
I think this is the first. The one was a different.
It was a different court, but and that's what my brother is talking about. Are you known to the court? Yeah. So are you known to the court doesn't mean that you are before the same judge.
No, so I want to clarify.
I think this is a judge handling his new case. The other one was a different court.
Also different.
I think the other one was Adenta or something, right?
No, so there was a case in Adenta that the judge ruled, and then Abronye, criticized the judge in Adenta for his ruling, and then he was then brought to this Circuit 9. What was the name? Circuit 9 court.
Yeah, so different.
So that's what the case is.
Okay. Yes. Okay. No, I think it's fine. I mean, Ako made a very profound statement that our speech or free speech must be measured. And I 100% agree with him. Our free speech must be measured. And also was seconded by my good friend who said that, well, free expression has been abused. Has been abused. The two statements I've made will border on ethics. On ethics. You know, our university, UPSA, we have introduced a very important course called ethics, that every first year student you must go through. It's a mandatory for you to go through. Be taught, so that when we churn you out, you come out, you are refined, the way you speak, the way you comment on issues. Very important course introduced my university. And I'm sure other universities must also have the same similar pattern. You know, if you go back to all these statements, unprintable words or comments, but where I sit, I will not support. I will not even endorse unprintable words or comments. And I'm sure that when you call people to come to your studio to talk on issues, you select them based on sometime where they come from in terms of their political affiliations. And then you sometimes bring neutral people. We all belong to certain classes of people, some groups. So I ask a simple question all the time. When they also come to your studio and talk, use unprintable words, I'm sure you don't encourage.
No.
So you tell the group that brought that person, next time, don't bring this person here again. That's one way of sensitizing, making sure these social issues are dealt with. Because we are trying to find a solution. All this conversation we have had this morning, it is about how can we profile or give a better solution to what we are going through now. So you do that. We also want the same political party, when they send their people to also come and comment on issues, do the same thing. Now it's become a competition. That if you can use the unprintable words, you are hailed. You are given the back. You are told you did well. And sometimes when you see the youth occupying spaces to speak on issues, it is about who hit the other one harder. That is a no. But I'm sure if all these political parties, the groups that we belong to, the churches where we belong to, are able to tell us, give us a feedback, look, don't make this comment again when you get this opportunity. And I was happy when Akko was saying that, look, he's been arrested before for comment made. Today, if you tell Akko to make such comment and words at school, the way we do things, we will not do the same thing when we used to be young. So it's an evolving situation. It's a part of development that every time when you get an opportunity, you want to talk on issues. Be very careful and be measured based on what you want to say. Now, having said this, let's come back to the whole conversations. I tell people that the true test of democracy is not how you treat your friends. The true test of democracy, for me, is not how you treat your friend, but how you treat your opponent. That's a true test of democracy. All these developments, we have not endorsed, but I can also ask you, how many of the current administration members have been arrested? Now there's a change of government. So you see more people. And I can give an account. I hear it's about 16 people have been arrested so far. Is that the case?
That's what I'm told.
That's what you're told.
I hear 14.
Get a record of all those people. Most of them will be for the NPP. I have never seen any member. But you see, some comments are also made equally by them. But how many? Today there's a change of government. When it flips, well, the same story will be told. And I said it here the last time. The main issue we are having, you'll go and arrest the NPP people. When it changes, the same thing. So when can we have a solution to this problem? That's what I said. A true test of democracy. It's not how you treat your friends, but your opponent. When you have a football match and the referee is seen bias, the results will not be taken by other people. That is what we are going through. Now, if you tell me the question you gave us, that the New Patriotic Party intends to petition CJ. Why? Because the party believes that Abronye will not receive a fair trial. That's the basic. Decompose these words carefully. If they want to petition CJ, are they right? Do they have that right to do? Yes. It falls within their mandate if they want to petition. They have that right. Now, consider the second statement. Will he get a fair trial? So the first one, factual, that they have rights to petition. The second one, will he get a fair trial? And that's why I want to ask several questions here. Why does NPP believe this? Whether he will get a fair trial or not. And if you look at the question, the issue very well, do they have any evidence of bias? Do they have? Because you are saying that they believe Abronye will not get
fair trial.
Fair trial. Why do they even want to believe in this? And two, I ask a question. Do they have any evidence of bias? If they do, then there will be an accusation like that. But what I'm also trying to consider here, if they have a right to petition, let them do. Allow them. And I was happy that lawyer said, in his view, he thinks that the lawyer and the judge should have granted him. And he made a comment that if you allow him to go, he will go and commit the same thing. But after 9 days, if Abronye get the same opportunity, can he make the same comment today?
It was released yesterday.
It was released yesterday. Equally has the space to do that. So these whole conversations, it should have been done some days ago, released, and the whole matter will be put to rest. We will not be sitting here. We spent about 2 weeks or so talking about one major issue. Yeah, there's a lot of issues as a country bothering us. So we have not endorsed unprintable words or comments for me, because I don't think ACO today will sit here and use words. And I don't think lawyer and Pepe also as well, because we are growing, we are developing. So let's also encourage those who benefit from this comment and tell them, would they have those members who made this comment on their behalf and they benefit? They should question them sometimes. Because at the end of the day, whether NPP or NDC, there's someone who benefits from this comment. There will be someone who enjoy. And sometimes when we are speaking, we have to be careful about the class of people we speak to. When I sit here and make comment on behalf, say things that will favor NDC, they'll clap for me today. When I sit here and make comment that will favor NPP, they'll clap for me today. But our youths and those who make comments should remember that when they haul you to the court and they're going to the prison, they will not follow you. They will leave you. And that is why we have to be careful what we put out there. And when you are speaking, it's not only NDC and NPP you speak to for them to be happy. Always there's a middle one. That's the listening minds. They're also listening. And they are the one you are trying to convince to come and join you. So we must watch the space. That when we get the opportunity, we are making comments and pronouncements on radio. This microphone, when they put it in front of you, and you're not careful, you say things so. You say things. But how do we make sure that we don't encourage some of these things. These are some of the things that I've said. That look, our churches must play a role, our politicians must play a role, educators must also play a role. And those who benefit from some of these comments, we must be able to nail and tell them, look, next time, don't go and say this or this or so. And that's the best way to resolve this. Other than that, it will be the same discussions every morning. We come and sit, comment made by someone. Now the space. If you go on YouTube, you have your microphone, you go on Facebook, you can say anything anyhow. Mm-hmm. Would that be in a studio? How do we sanitize that space? Who are those people who are checking? So, Kojo, it's an issue that all of us need to play a role in trying to resolve this problem, because every day we won't have a solution. If we keep the way, the comment from us, I will defend my position, NDC will defend, NPP will defend.
UP will defend. No, UP will be in the middle.
No, they will be in the middle. They will defend. You know the number of names Aku mentioned, and my good friend, Prempe, those who have been picked before. If you want us to do the record, we'll do, the next day we'll come back and mention names. Okay. And the names will not end.
Okay.
But tomorrow, there'll be another issue. The next day, there'll be another issue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before you move on, just something little. I am really worried for Abronye.
Okay.
Especially the pusher of the NPP. Per experience, don't forget he spoke against the judge.
Yeah.
You are accusing this judge too that you are not going to have fair treatment. It means another judge probably may have to continue.
Yes, yes.
These will be two scenarios in the past. And the pressure on the new judge will be either to go left or to go right. The attack was on my colleague. The next colleague who was handling it, you are accusing him of bias, ABCD. In the case of...
No, but the judge's duty is to stay the course of the law.
Pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is what we all believe that the two earlier judges were doing in their own mind and wisdom. Mm. They were impartial. They were doing what they are mandated, what they were mandated to do. So anytime these cases, your posture is, this is an NDC judge, this is this and all that. The judges are not from moon. They are just like us.
Okay.
So you should be very careful the posture you are putting out there.
Okay. That's all right. So that's an advice for Prempe and his colleagues.
You see,
Prempe, they say,
before we move on,
he says that be careful how you.
But this should be very, before we move on. Mm-hmm. See, we are not looking at this particular case. That is why I'm worried. This all discussion is going about.
You see, earlier we were talking of Abronye's earlier comment. You said we shouldn't go on that tangent. We should just settle on the case before the court now.
See,
we are not settling on the case now. You say no, let's go back to
what I said. What I'm saying is that
is an advice.
A judge should look at the case before him or her and not what has happened prior. In this particular case, if you are looking at what did Abronye really say about the judge?
Oh, please, I have to stop you. Because I have to stop you. In the bail issue, no, because it's a massive miseducation. If it was just his opinion, it was okay. In the bail issue, you can't, because the law tells the judge.
You don't even know where I am landing. And I'm not talking about bail.
Okay.
But he's saying that in this case,
will you let him land so that you come in with the education? I love you to do the education. Let him land.
Okay. When I feel you can do your education. The point I'm making is the particular, comments or criticism that Abronye gave. Similar one, though you might say not in harsh words, but the same thing that the current Attorney General did in 2020, when he said the judges had a predetermined agenda against NDC. This is what the current Attorney General said. And Abronye is saying, what he said is that the judge has connived with NDC against NPP. That's what he was saying. Is that not the same thing? And then the earlier one, he was cited for contempt and was made to apologize. Why was Abronye not cited for contempt but arrested? just like that. And then the criminal case was started against him.
No,
that is the point that I'm making.
No, but the point is that, listen, so you're a judge. The judges don't prefer.
About
but it's not. Judges don't prefer
charges against.
So the police
do it.
So why? I'm talking about the basis of the whole case.
Yeah, but you see, right now you are taking an action against the judge and accusing government. No, because the topic was that NPP has petitioned.
The world petition the CJ.
Yes, and I'm saying
because they fear Abronye will not get fair trial.
Exactly. And the issue under contention, really, under political contention, is the bill, the refusal of the bill.
But what I am saying, that we shouldn't even have gotten to the bill. That is the point I am making.
Today we are here to discuss, and over the past 2 weeks, we are discussing free speech.
But you can't discount his opinion.
I'm not discounting. What I'm saying is that what is in content? What is in content? In fact, what the NPP is taking to court is how the judge has handled the bill, statements.
I agree with that.
I'm saying that in the context of that, the judge can't just look at the case.
But that's not what I said.
No, I'm coming. Because you said the judge has limited himself to the case before you.
Well, I'm saying that the judge
we're
discussing here.
Please, no. What the topic they gave us today was now, because one of the conditions that the judge has to consider when they to grant bail or not is whether or not there's a real likelihood that this person, if I grant him bail, you go and may commit another offense. Then it is critical that the judge takes into consideration how he's handled himself and when bail was granted to him in the past.
I have not disputed that fact.
No, but
I have not disputed that fact.
No, but when you are speaking, and that's why sometimes usually I don't interject. But I needed to interject there because what you said explicitly was that the judge should have limited himself to the case before him.
But a judge also has to look at the merit of a case before you even move on to.
No, but the point is that what is under contention is the bill.
No,
and in considering bail.
You are misunderstanding what
I'm not misunderstanding what.
I'm not discussing the bill.
Up until now, what has happened in the case? Up until now.
Which case?
You say whatever you want.
Up until now, they've not gone even into the very story. No, what has happened is the bill. What has happened because they arraign you, and after arraignment,
But it is due to what has happened that the NPP believes he won't have fair trial.
But that's why I'm saying that. I've had my say on that. As much as personally, I think that I would have granted bail. My view is that NPP should have strengthened the institutions by using the system that we have created. But having said that, in relation to what my brother here was saying, and the statement he made was that the judge had to limit himself to the case before him. Now I'm saying because the issue before the judge was bail. And because the law is saying that when you are granting bail, there are certain things that you must consider in using your discretion. One of them is whether or not you believe that if I grant this guy bail, he will go and commit an offense, not just that same offense, any offense. And have a situation where this person, having been granted bail in the past, committed an offense, purposely committed an offense that has brought the matter before a different judge. So in bail issues, you can't limit yourself to just the four corners of that. And that's why my brother here said that in criminal matters, they always ask you where there's a conviction. Is this person known to the court? You can't just limit yourself to the four walls of the case before you.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's move on to deal with the other issues. We have Parliament to pass LGBT bill before adjournment. Will Bagbin succeed? And also GN Bank having their license restored. I would want us to deal with this at the latter part. But let's move on to Parliament and look at the LGBT bill. Can they do it before adjournment? Okay, I'll start with you, lawyer, here. I mean, the Speaker of Parliament has really indicated a willingness to see that this one passes. But the question is, will he succeed, looking at all that?
You see, when I was talking about the credibility issue, this is a typical example of the lack of credibility that our political parties are subjecting us to. You understand? Because I think when it comes to the issue of LGBT, if there's one issue that we are united as a nation, you understand, against, is what's called
LGBT issues.
Let me give you a typical example. So I have issues with the bill, personally.
Okay.
I have issues with the bill. Now, having issues with the bill doesn't mean that I'm okay with people practicing LGBTQ. I had issues with certain clauses in the bill which I felt had restraints on freedom of speech and all those issues. So I recall that I was called when the earlier discussion, and I shared those views. The person that chastised me on my view was my wife. Is that really of you? That people, it was not their issue like them. So the people say, if you hold yourself up as being gay, they should arrest you. I had issues with that. If you hold yourself out. So go and read the bill very well.
No, if you hold yourself out as being gay.
If you say you are gay.
And I had issues with that. So if I say I'm a thief, would that constitute a criminal?
But if you say you are a thief,
what do we do to thieves? No. So I say, because in every crime before the court,
I thought the case was rather. I thought yes,
there must be actus reus. So it is that there is an act. So you should make it that Akugan, let's say, has lost his phone, and I am the one who has taken his phone. You understand? If I say that I'm a thief, that's that I'm the one who stole Akugan's, you cannot charge me for saying that I'm a thief.
Yeah.
You understand my point now? So now you have a bill that says that if you say that I'm gay without an act which was an act, you understand, you should be arrested. That is dangerous. That is very dangerous. So, but that's by the way, you see, that isn't the main focus. The point I'm trying to make is that, the reason for that example is that this is one issue where the country is really united on our desire not to see any law that allows people to be gay. And yet, for strange reasons, we are struggling to pass this act. And we are struggling to pass this act because we have a president who illegally and unconstitutionally, against the clear terms of our constitution, refused to assent to the bill that was passed. Criminal, we should never forget this. Now, having said that, let's say, so dear Koko, he's no longer president. I mean, I was expecting that some judge will be the one who will lead this. I was expecting that some judge will lead this agenda. But I don't see that kind of energy.
It is being led by Reverend Akufo-Addo.
Yes, rather the rules have changed. But the point is that the what I'm trying to say is that
he was still with the team.
He hasn't changed it.
I've not mentioned the rule has changed. You originally.
No, you said the rule has changed.
He's been the voice.
When I say the rule has changed, what I mean is that the point I'm trying is that the kind of energy, the kind of energy we saw from some judge. I've said you here before. You were the host. I expect some judge to be leading the charge, and I do not see the energy. Seriously, there's a massive drop-off in terms of the energy by then minority MPs who are now majority in pushing. We are almost 18. How many months?
We've done 12 plus 5, 17.
17 months now.
And we are not seeing the kind of energy that we ought to see. So the question then becomes, I'm saying this in the light of previous comments some judge made around 2015 when there was an attempt to push the LGBT issue. And I ask the question, so our politicians, when they act, is it because they are faithful to their duties as politicians? You understand? Or is it just to push a political agenda that suits them? But at least if there's somebody that I feel has been consistent, is the speaker in his position on this. He's been very consistent with his position on this. And because of that, and I also do not doubt, so from His Excellency John Mahama has not shown anything that makes me doubt that if the bill is passed, he won't sign it. So because of that, I'm confident. I'm confident that because of, in my opinion, the kind of consistency the speaker has shown over the years throughout his political, at least from what I've seen, and because His Excellency Mahama has not shown to me that he lacks commitment in dealing with his issues or with his obligations as president, I believe that, and because Reverend Akufo-Addo is also aligned, and I think largely has the support of Ghanaians, I think this should be the easiest bill to be passed. I don't see any position from anywhere from the minority. They themselves, I don't see how the majority will oppose, even though I'm disappointed with the radical, fundamental drop of energy by Honorable some judge. Because he's an MP minister. You understand? Because of the speaker's commitment and because I do not doubt his government's commitment, I think hopefully by 2028 this will be done. Mama, his excellency John Mama won't run away. He will sign it.
I'm making your work easy. I'm just taking it from here.
Make it
easy. You see, first of all, you are not hearing some judge because there's nothing that is being opposed. There's nothing that is being a hindrance.
Oh, I've got that. At first, there was no opposition.
What?
Apart from Nanado, who
But if Nanado is opposing, how dare you, a minister of state who is also a member of parliament, how dare you say a point from...
I think we should be fair as well.
Yeah.
Did the president oppose it? There was a. I'm coming. Yeah, it's good that you. There was. I remember that he cited a legal issue being the reason why he couldn't answer because he wanted the Supreme Court
let's go to
pronounce it.
Let's go to the Constitution. When you read the Constitution on how bills that have been passed, first of all, you are restrained by time. Within a set time, you must pen your signature. Not signature. Your opposition to the bill. I told you that you have with the bill. So let's say if I were president and they brought the bill, I would have paid the Constitution. I had to write the portions of the bill that I'm opposed to within a set time.
Okay.
You understand? Pen it down. That will have issue with, let's say, a bill that says that if somebody holds themselves up as being gay without the necessary requisite of an accusation and a menstrual, that person should be, that is a crime. Then I'll send it to Parliament. And you see, and the key thing is there's a set time. Nanado, have you seen any letter or the Parliament tell us that he's written, he's penned anything as to the reasons why he cannot assent? Because it's all time. When they bring it to you, within a set time, you must either assent or tell Parliament your reasons for not assenting.
But was it
communicated his reasons?
Did he write it to Parliament? Well, please let me down on this. Within a set time, he did none of those. He did none of those. Then he started bringing.
The bill actually went.
Got his decks. He got his decks. He got his decks. Parliament. He got his decks. I think he did it. So how the people who went to court, what's called CTFMs, Sky, and all that people, what was the reasons for the?
No, the reasons that they passed.
Oh, no, yes. He got the transmission. The thing was translated.
There was a letter.
You see, listen.
There was a letter.
Okay, it's fine. Run away.
Hold your guns. Hold your gun. Okay, so hold your gun. So you should take your time.
Not my time. Not of my time on this issue. What's better evidence? What's better evidence of opposition of a person to a law or a bill than the person what's called renegating on his obligation? In fact, he should have been impeached for that. He should have been impeached for not performing his obligation as president.
But lawyer, what evidence? Because the letter from the secretary was asking Parliament not to transmit.
Exactly.
After every days passed, do we take it home?
And what do we take? And what power does the secretary of president have to say? Don't transmit. Because you see, it goes to the very heart of the principle of separation of powers, which is one of the fundamental principles of this accord. What right does the executive have to tell Parliament that do not act?
Council.
What better evidence of opposition do you have? I can say that based on that, I can confidently say that Nanado supports LGBTQ. Nanado supports LGBT based on that.
You cannot make it's your opinion.
Listen, on that, I'm saying that Nana Akufo-Addo supports LGBTQ.
Today, why? You want me to? Maybe I'll call Solomon to Solomon.
Oh, my brother. I think without
he's the reason why you are doing this.
Who's the reason?
The truth is that this issue is running seamlessly. That is why you are not hearing noise about it and all that. It's grinding fine.
And the truth is that the Speaker of Parliament is committed to seeing this law through. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has made it clear that the day that bill comes to his desk, he is going to sign it. So what fears do we have? You see, when it comes to the issue of Sam George has fought all those battles.
So he's tired.
Sam George has never been tired. I'm coming. Sam George has never been tired. He has never been tired. No. Let me tell you something. In fact, after Nanado refused, and we have to come back to the table again.
After your post.
After your post. And for us to come over, start all this process again. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said that he doesn't want it to be a private member's bill.
Thank you.
So he wanted to relay it and all that.
Okay.
Then the Speaker of Parliament said no. They have gone through it. They are fine. He doesn't want anybody to take credit for it. Once, some churches supported, others supported, and all those things. Let's still use that route. God being so good, they gave the opportunity to, I think, the Constitutional and Legal Committee and another, I think, Human Rights Committee, for them to go through it. That is why I felt that if you had a problem with the issue you mentioned, at least you could have even sent your opinion to them for them to consider and all that. So everything was just grinding fine, and the Speaker of Parliament even made it open that he has had a discussion with the President. We are all good to go. So what should Sam George do again? Everything is fine.
But to be fair,
yes, Kojo.
This is a matter in the previous sitting of Parliament.
Yes.
It didn't even find expression on the, how do you call it? The business of the day. It was difficult finding expression, and minority raised a lot of issues.
No. I remember what happened was that they brought it to the business, I don't know the parliamentary term so well, but they brought it to the House for a discussion. And then there was objection that it should rather be laid by one of the leaders or the legal and constitutional, one of the two committees. It should be properly laid. And we have to withdraw it because they must go through it before it comes back for them to, officially present their findings, what other people contributed, because a lot of people had issues with sections of the law and all that. They brought their opinions and all those. Now it's almost done. And
so it has been amended?
I am not a member of Parliament. I'm not part of that committee. I cannot speak to that.
All right.
You understand?
No problem.
So this, you see, the whole thing about me, this LGBT bill, I have never supported it because I know that it is something that morally, religiously is unacceptable. So I have not gone to the details of the law and what is...
We just want the law to come.
That is it.
Let's criminalize it.
Exactly. So for me, that is the point that we are. And I'm so confident with the Speaker when he says that this year, dole, it will happen. And the President too says that if it happens, it means that the people of Ghana have spoken. So when it comes, I will send my signature. So I don't know what again will be the hindrance or the hurdle or impediment from any institution.
All right. Thank you. Prof.
Sometimes I'm sad when you bring us here to come and talk about, you bring us a topic for discussion. I get sad. Why? I wake up in the morning.
Drive all the way.
Then drive all the way. Then come and discuss LGBT. Why?
But we sent it to you way before.
No, sometimes if I have...
Because some people made it political.
I don't have my way. I would have cancelled and not comment on that.
Why would you comment on it? This borders always say, well, the bill is called what? Family values and... it's a sexual... proper human rights and family values bill. This is about us, it's about society. It should be,
and especially about because we are formed mentally. You see, but mostly it's about our children. I always can be influenced. You see,
you listen to.
You won't let me.
Because I want to have the contest. Why you should be proud to come?
No, but you didn't allow me to learn. That's the problem.
Because of where you started from. I want you to.
Because There are major issues in our country that should be touched on. I'm coming.
Well, this is a major issue.
No. You won't allow me.
Issue, no, because and this is an issue that goes to the core of how your children identify themselves.
The issue is not revenue.
I don't know why today you are not playing it.
The issue is not money. It's not revenue.
I think there are major issues. It's important.
Yeah.
Very important. He said his wife, when he wanted him there, the wife didn't. I was here when he made those comments, and that day I knew something was going to happen.
No, it wasn't me here.
But he made a comment.
Yes,
I knew. I've heard him say that before. The point is that I don't support this LGBT thing. I'm not a supporter.
Yeah.
Why must our children be encouraged to practice this? So why do I get up in the morning to come and project LGBT? The more we talk about it, is that we are projecting it. If the law is there, let it be passed. Criminalize it. I'm sad when we make references to elsewhere administration. They made their mistake. They didn't pass. They didn't pass. The issues are still there. So the current administration pass it.
They didn't do well. We shouldn't forget. We shouldn't forget.
Pass it. The elsewhere administration is gone. So this administration should be able to pass it, criminalize it. Recently, there was a procession here in Ghana. I thought I was watching from a different country.
True. I
thought I was watching that thing from a different country. Procession here in Ghana. Police people were giving them protection.
Yes.
Police paid with taxpayers' money, giving them protection on that day.
Yeah.
We kept quiet. That's why I said, I'm sad when you hear me come and talk about this. We know what to do. The speaker, he doesn't initiate bills. He doesn't. When it's brought, he'll pass. If it's not brought, what else? I see contradiction here with the president's statement. One breath, he said that is not a priority to him. Another breath, bring our sign.
No.
No. Why do you disagree? Allow him.
Yes. Let me. No. You see, Kojo.
I was quiet.
No. The president has always been consistent on this. I'm coming. The president has always been consistent on that. But when he calls CSOs, you understand?
Somebody brought it.
Discussing some major issue because he had then returned from UN. Then he called SOs on happenings in Ghana and all that. Then somebody brings this issue. He says that, on this platform, this issue is already in Parliament.
Why? So what did he say?
What did he say? I'm coming. You see, sometimes
I'll give you time. I'll give you time.
Yes, thank you very much. Sometimes the intent must never be ruled out. The intent is that I have said over the years that the moment this thing comes, I am going to pass.
So what did he say?
So why should this thing be an issue? When we have issues burning on the table, we can make that a priority. Just like the way, unless he wants to sound, how do you call it, not consistent too. No. Because he himself started by saying that we shouldn't even be discussing.
Thank you.
It means that he agrees with the president.
He was explaining.
That we shouldn't even bother. So he himself is not being consistent. Prof, you're not being consistent.
I said priority because I don't have the powers to pass. But those who have powers to pass. I don't have powers to pass that. Of course.
So be consistent.
So those who have
to be consistent with the commentary.
Exactly. Your comments are not being consistent.
He was consistent.
He said it's not a priority. He doesn't want to wake up in the morning and come and sit here and talk about LGBT.
So how's that different from what the president said?
Please allow him. Allow him.
The point is that I don't have powers to pass.
I have powers to comment.
All right? So when I wake up in the morning,
to come and comment,
you hold me here.
To come and comment.
That I should come and glorify. Because the more we talk about it, the more we sit here and talk about it, we are endorsing it. People are hearing, our kids are hearing it.
No, we are not endorsing it.
No, we are not talking about it.
But what Prof is saying, right?
I don't think you are.
There is no bad publicity. As long as you are talking about it,
you are talking about it.
The same.
So I'm saying that those who have,
please allow Prof to land.
Those are the powers. should immediately go ahead and criminalize it.
Like they are doing.
We'll be fine. Because on one breath, if you tell me it's not a priority, forget about the platform you had and spoke about. No. And then one breath, you tell us when they bring it, you sign. So if it's not brought, nothing will be done. This morning,
it will be brought.
This morning, we are talking about, you talk about the Honorable Sam George.
Yeah.
Now the Jetta is quiet.
That is quiet. It has never been quiet. That is not
No. And for me,
want to hear the roar.
Years ago, what we said, what is said about this whole thing.
Because there was an opposition.
Oh,
it's different from now.
Okay, let's profile.
We have people here who are doing procession.
Nana has not spoken.
If something that we don't like, if something that we don't like, we watch them.
Oh, how can this be from?
Do that procession.
Yeah,
we protected them.
Yeah,
police.
Because the law is not there to catch up on them.
Is this something we should encourage? Go watch the videos.
But those ones, were they LGBTQ?
No.
They were not. Let's distinguish.
I don't know. But the point is...
let's say it was against morality.
Is this something...
It was against family morality.
Is this something which...
No, I agree. But
watch. Are you talking about the ladies who... That's a carnival stuff. It's a Caribbean
stuff.
So
that's why they start to be promising.
That's a Caribbean style carnival. That's why LGBT.
But which the hold on. Did you cover it?
Hold on. Who covered it? But why wouldn't we even encourage that? Those are women.
There were males too.
No,
who are dressed like that?
Yes, but that was the women to see.
But let the women also
No, I think that men should always be attracted to women. And women attracted to men.
That's all.
Yeah, that should be natural stuff. Oh, yes. Oh, everybody knows me. I'm a man with women. I don't like
all of us.
Women.
Why do you want to do?
I know I'm saying.
Why do we want you?
So
why do people have to encourage this practice?
No, nobody's encouraging. That's why the bill.
Why would even people?
Nobody's encouraging it. That's why people say let's pass the bill. That's what I'm saying for chapter 2.
Let's pass the bill.
Okay, thank you.
So we rest.
Okay.
Our heads for
right.
us.
We will pass the current parliament and the current executive for their commitment.
Please.
And also
when he finishes, we'll thank him.
All right. Okay. So you are waiting for him to finish.
Yes.
Oh yes.
The commitment doesn't matter to you.
No, it's not commitment. It's the result.
So Kojo, you see, the whole thing, as Prof is saying, is a hypocrisy surrounding it in terms of the communication. And let's be, honest with the facts. The LGBTQ was not the only law that Leonardo did not sign. I think there are about 3 or 4 other laws.
Yeah.
So it was not like he singled out a particular bill.
All those things he followed procedures.
Yes. So all that things he followed. Okay, let me finish. Now this particular one. What he was saying is that there is a case in court. Let's run out the case. And then you bring that is a fact and it's recorded.
No.
There are records to back that.
Answer.
Now, whether... No. I didn't speak when you were talking. Let me carry on.
Please, we don't have a lot of time. We need to do James.
These are verifiable facts. You can disagree with it or not.
I'm coming. Your point.
You can disagree with it or not.
Let me finish. Was in court, but he appended this.
When did he go to court?
How different?
Let me finish. Let me finish. So the point is, we are talking about Sam George. Sam George was screaming, roaring about this thing since 7 January 2025. He went quiet on it. The president, then in opposition, called religious leaders together and said, when I come, this will be a priority. I'm taking it away from a private citizen-sponsored bill to a government-sponsored bill.
Which he tried.
He was, so you say he could not?
No, the speaker said, no, we want it this way.
Well, if he wanted, if it was a priority, he would have done it. Now, you've been in power for 17 months. Something that is so dear to you, something that you call people together and make so much noise about it. Now you say, no, it's following due process. And then we are sitting here.
If I were to with you, I wouldn't speak
for 17 months. Now you see, for me, if I'm being honest with you, right, I am against LGBTQ. I am against a woman saying that they're a male saying they're female, and gender changes and all that. These are all nonsense to me. These are all nonsense. However, my resistance, because these things are private things, that one would have bothered me much. But when you allow these things to creep in, I'm going to give examples of why we should be worried. When two men are in their homes doing whatever they want to do, I wouldn't have bothered by it. Honestly, it would have been my problem. However, in other societies, when they allow this to fester, in public discourse, when they are coming out instead of being private, this is what happened. They enforce that belief on the rest of society. And I'll give you several cases, one in Holland, and one in Holland, one in Ireland, and one in Canada. So in Holland, there was a civil servant at one of the city councils who was administering weddings. And two gay men came in that they want to, get married. And he told them, it is against my faith to marry gay people. However, I have my colleagues here who will be willing to do it for you. They insisted that since that person is being paid with public funds, that particular person who is a Christian was against his religion should be the one to marry them. So they took it to court and eventually got him fired. So that's how serious this thing can go. In Ireland, there was a bakery who baked cakes for weddings and stuff, and he also sell. And there were some gay people who used to go to his shop, buy, pastries and all that. He served them all right. So they informed him they want to get married. They want him to bake a cake for them. And he said, please, as for baking a cake for your wedding, that one I can't do. Yeah. It's against my religion. If you come here, I'll serve you all right. I have nothing against you, but I can't support that particular act. They took him to court. And mind you, there are a lot of bakeries in Ireland. They took him to court, and they took him on. Again, in Canada.
And what was that kind of case?
No, that kind of case, no, they threw that case they threw away. But at least you have to go through this legal process and all that. And waste time, waste money. There's another one in Canada.
For me, let's go to GN Bank.
So there's another one in Canada where those that change their sex from male to female.
The
transgender. But this transgender had not done this, the operation. So he still had the male. So he went to a female, Brazilian wax. Asked them to wax him. He said, no, we only do female here. And he said, I'm a female. If you go to the next door, they have also male that they can do for you. Again, he took them to court. So these are some of the things, if we allow this thing to fester, that it will creep in, right? But some of us had issues with certain things in the law.
Okay.
That if my brother happens to be gay, and if I don't report him, I'll also be convicted.
Thank you.
How?
I'm grateful. So that those should.
So Nanadu knew all this.
Let's do the GN. Let's do GN Bank. Surely, I'll give each and everyone 2 minutes, and then we can wrap up here. Now, yesterday the appellate court or the Court of Appeal ordered the Bank of Ghana to restore the operational license of GN Savings and Loans Limited after it upheld an appeal against the decision of the High Court, which affirmed the central bank's 2019 decision to collapse the bank. Now, a bit of history. On January 4, 2019, Bank of Ghana approved a request to reclassify GN Bank from a universal bank to a savings and loans company, following its inability to meet required minimum paid-out capital of 400 million cedis by December 31, 2018. The reclassification was to, among other things, enable the institution to downsize its operations and also inject additional capital to resolve the acute liquidity challenge it was confronted with. Now, the financial condition of the institution deteriorated since the reclassification, with both negative capital adequacy ratio and negative net worth. The Bank of Ghana reached a conclusion that GN was currently insolvent under sections 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Banks and SDI Act 2016, Act 930, being in breach of its key prudential regulatory requirement. But today, it's been asked to, be given the license back. What does this really mean for the banking sector? Let me start with you. 2 minutes.
Right. Let me first say that I am very happy for Indum and Group Indum. And I'm happy because of the number of people that he was able to employ. Not just with the banking sector, but in the media space, the number of TV and radio stations. And most of our big banks, like ABSA, like Fidelity and all that, They are just at the, the capitals and the urban areas. If, for us who travel a lot, every corner, you will see the GN Bank with their, bricks designed, And I was very sad when they had to lose their licenses. This one not using the political angle of somebody collapsing it and all that. But at least he brought banking closer to the people. Where the big banks will not go, GN Bank will go. Encouraged people to save and all that at the rural areas. Today, you travel and you see weeds growing all over his premises and all that. I heard from one of your papers that you went through that I think Bank of Ghana intends to also go to the Supreme Court, and I think one of your papers that story up.
Yesterday I was told on the top story that it's likely. Not from the Bank of Ghana, but someone who knows the industry.
For me, I will not support the Bank of Ghana
going to the Supreme Court. Okay.
On that route. Not just because of GN Bank. You see, as a nation, we don't know how to support,
indigenous businesses.
Indigenous businesses. And that must be a thing of the past. Today, almost everything is taken over by foreigners, Chinese people, and all that. We are not against, because we go out there to invite people to come and invest in our country and all that. We shouldn't be doing this whilst killing indigenous businesses. So for me, I'm very happy for Group Indum. I wish them the best. And as he himself promised, that he's going to build something bigger and better than the previous. And that alone is a statement that I think people who were banking with them should have that confidence of a comeback. And you see, in all this, the Bank of Ghana itself, which was supposed to, monitor and make sure that they are following the legal regime and all that. I didn't see the number, the number of people who were also punished for the collapse of these banks and all that. But however, it is a lot of water has passed under the bridge.
Okay.
They are coming back. I've never banked with them, but I promise that when they roll on,
you bank with
I will
them.
bank with them.
Thank you very much. Prof, come in here. You are the finance person.
Well, when I read a story, I think it came up yesterday. I had to go back to the NDC campaign manifesto promises. It is part of what they said, that when they assume power, they will ensure that they restore the GN Bank license. So I had to tick the box. No.
Is it just GN Bank?
Oh, no, I'm coming.
Exactly.
A collapsed bank.
The collapsed bank.
But it was on a petition that GN, Dr. Ndulu sent to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just a confirmation of what I'm trying to say. So I had to tick, because I've been monitoring the...
Oh, then you are taking a lot of boxes.
Yeah. What is yet to be ticked, finally,
is which one?
Is the mining, the ban of the illegal mining. That's what is left of.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know it will be ticked one day. So I checked that. Let's also not make a mistake. I've been on other platforms. I've said that let's support the indigenous institutions. Let's support them. Whichever shade of form we can do as a country. Let's support them. But not when there are other issues that we don't need to talk about. No, we should support. But when there are issues, we must also say it. When you want to make comment about the restoration, you need to master the chronology. You were giving it a background.
Yeah.
January 2029.
Yeah, 2019.
Was reclassified.
Yeah.
Then in January, the same, I think in August 2019, the BOG also revoked.
That was in September.
And then receiver was appointed. They also had, I think the same August, Group Indum challenged the revocation in court. And in 2024, High Court ruled in favor of BOG, upholding the revocation. Then in the same 2024, Group Indum appealed. And today, he has won. the rule of law. It's a good news. The court system is working. But let's also have another conversation. In terms of the regulator, can BOG be trusted as a regulator? It's the apex of the financial institution. And now he loses this case. You said there will be
now, according to insiders,
yeah, that's what
the
they think.
Banking sector insiders, they say, let me mention the person, Nanao Achampon. He's a banking consultant. He said he is aware that it's likely they will go to the Supreme Court.
For me, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Because of the previous, we are talking about insolvency. Today, we don't need to be too technical about this whole thing. That issue has been overflowed for so many years. Finally, the license given back. But then, what happened to the other collapsed institutions?
That's what we're asking.
The 9 banks, the 347 microfinance institutions, and then 23 savings and loans. What happened to those institutions?
Okay. Thank you. Remember, briefly.
Thank you, Kojo. You see, I think we have to put this thing in proper perspective, right? Now, I understand that we have to protect indigenous businesses, right? And when Aku was saying, then I cringe a little bit because they did not protect Brian Champon in, Rock City,
Why didn't they protect him?
They rallied against him, progressing, taking over the Senate courts and all that. If we really are for indigenous businesses, what was the reason for opposing that takeover? But anyway, that's for another.
But a company owned by
that is for another
it's also an indigenous company.
That is
must it go to an NPP president before it becomes an indigenous?
But those hotels are so distressed, and we are still looking for financial partners. Says who? Says
no.
Okay, now let's move on.
Look at their financials.
Let's move on. See, now this particular banking sector cleanup, it is being made to look as if it's an NPP creation, which is a palpable falsehood. The report that was used to do the cleanup was done by the NDC, which was part of the conditions under the IMF program that we went for in 2015, where a bill was drafted in 2016 to clean up the banking sector. And NDC also recognized that the banks were distressed. They also came up with, I think they gave them some money in 2015 or 2014 thereabout to help them, to capitalize. And what did they do with the money? The money was misused. So when we came in as a government, all these things had been done, and the banks were in real distress, and we had to rescue them.
If you say the monies were misused by who?
Oh, I think there were cases, Capital Bank,
so you mean the monies were given to the banks? Exactly.
Okay, yeah, to the banks.
And then they
misapplied it. So in this case, we are not just going to throw money at them again for them to go and misapply it. Now, when we came in, you know that when banks collapse, it's not just any business that when it collapses, you only have the workers, from that particular business who would then have to go home. When it comes to financial institutions like banks, there are also deposited money that is there. But if you allow it to collapse, people are going to lose their livelihood, their lifelong savings. So it became, the duty of the nation to also ensure that people do not lose their money, right? So when we talk about the banking sector cleanup, it is not an NPP creation. It was government of Ghana, through successive governments, who had to do this particular activity. Now let's look at GN Bank in particular. What was the situation when their licenses were taken over? Over 70 branches were closed without any prior notification. People were going to take their money that they couldn't get it. So they were under real distress. So the closure, for me, if you look at the sequence of the issues, taking away the license and the closure was not the issue of Indom. If you look at least in the news, when we started this program, I was telling you that the judgment is not out. So whatever we are saying now, we are just hearsay and then talking about it. But so it's out, let's just talk about it. And when the judgment is out, we have also the opportunity to look at the judgment and talk about it. But from the news items, from what I heard from Indom, his position was his bank not having money to service whatever things they have to service was because of government not paying those that owe him. That was his problem.
Our time is up.
So in collapsing was not the problem, but he said it was due to government that we have to collapse it. Okay. That is what the problem was. Now,
our time is up.
Last 2 points. The last 2 points that we have to look at it critically is that when we are talking about our banking sector, we are talking about our judiciary. We shouldn't politicize these things. This is not something that should have found its way into somebody's manifesto. These are critical things that the judiciary must sit upon and then deliberate about it and bring judgment. Now, if you make it a political point, are you then going to influence the judiciary? Now, when the judgment came out yesterday, people from the Flagstaff House are jubilating that Mahama is a promise keeper. So does it mean that Mahama influenced the judgment? These are some of the things that we should not politicize. If the judgment comes out and it turns out that Bank of Ghana was not right to cancel it, we will accept it in good faith, and then we'll see what should be done.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Lawyer, briefly, because our time is up.
Listen, what happened in the banking cleanup is one of the most radical examples of how bad government can weaponize regulation to destroy businesses. Because my brother here rightly talks about the banking cleanup and the monies that his mama, Bank of Ghana, at that time decided to use to support. That liquidity support was not dashing money. It was a loan granted to these institutions.
Yes, yeah.
Now, the second question. We can only say that they were, as in, it didn't work if they couldn't pay back. But there was no evidence throughout the narration to suggest that none of these institutions who were given liquidity support by way of a loan ever defaulted on that liquidity support. Because what is one of the most fundamental duties of Bank of Ghana? They're the bank of last resort. You understand? And also, by way of policy, the banking sector, financial sector, our intermediation sector is a confidence sector. So if you're a government and you feel that your banks are in distress, and then this is because of the state of the economy, the general state of the economy, because most of the distress was caused by bad loans that they gave and people couldn't pay. And it is a reflection of the unhealthy state of our economy, very high interest rates and all. So if you're a Bank of Ghana, then one of your core mandates where banks are in distress, and the examples are everywhere in the US and all, is for you to use you being the bank of last resort to save the banks. But if you consider all the other facts, like in the case of Capital Bank, the fact that the former finance minister even attempted to buy that bank in the first place. He attempted to buy that bank in the first place. The fact that when they were giving that liquidity support, not once did they default. Not once did they default. So what did they do? Nana-Addo and his cohorts.
No, so are you saying that the report that showed us that, for example, in Capital, the monies were taken to Liberia to some business
that fully adhere fundamental legal principle. When you give a loan to a bank, is the property of the bank.
No.
Oh,
the loan was for a specific purpose.
Listen. I'm talking about. I'm saying, please, let me. When the speaker was talking, when they say recapitalization, what does it mean? When you even ask customers, when we give monies to our bank, when you go and deposit per law, per Foley and Hill, and per the Dworkinson case, the relation between the bank and us is one of debtor creditor. So when you go, why do you go and recapitalize the bank? So they'll be someone to go do what? When you give the bank license, you give the money to go and keep in the bank. That's what business has. You see the mindset. That's what business are suffering. Please, let them down this. Once the money is their property, then they have, once they are using the money within the terms of Bank of Ghana regulation, laws and stuff, then it does not lie in your mouth to say that what they should have kept money. The point is, and I know going forward, we'll be having the discussion.
So let's see the judgment.
To see how deadly Nana-Addo's government was, and how even
thank you very much. This one says, good morning, boss, please. Okay. Today is the birthday. Oh, guys, hold on. Today is the birthday of the former Black Stars player and captain Isaac Paha, part of the team that won Ghana's last African Cup in 1982 and captained the team later in 1984. Former Black Queens coach, former Black Starlets coach, former assistant coach of the Black Stars. He's now a pastor at Flames of Glory Chapel. Let's celebrate him today. It's a birthday of Isaac Paha. You know him, former Black Stars player. This one says, the NDC guy is talking about Abronye's hate speech, and he's forgotten that one guy named Listowell said on Accra FM political show that the director for small arms is the one supplying arms to the people to aid the fighting. He was never invited nor arrested. They should listen to Accra FM and the kind of language they use on Dr. Baumia and Addo. Are some Ghanaians more Ghanaian than the other? These guys have selective amnesia. David Obriyabua, Dome Kwabenya brought this one in. Okay, happy birthday to my God-sent Hajia Fauzia Karim. She's a loving sister with a kind heart. May Allah grant her long life with good health. The entire family love her so much. From Abena Pokuya Ahenye. Okay, so that's to you, Fauzia there. This one says, Kojo, former President Nana Akufo-Addo never received or officially signed the Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill because the administration requested Parliament to cease transmitting it to his desk until the Supreme Court resolved legal challenges surrounding its passage. I'm so disappointed in Apia Dankwa this morning. He just mentioned on the show that he had issues in certain provisions of the bill and now turns around to accuse Akufo-Addo of supporting LGBT because he didn't sign the bill. Amazing convictions. Mancha Bruce, the second intercrady, sent this one. Well, it looks like the director is pushing us out. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to the show. Let me do this. Happy birthday to you. My God sent Hajia Fauzia Karim. She's a loving sister with a kind heart. May Allah grant her long life with good health. The entire family love her so much. Abena Pokuya Ahenye is sending in this one, but this one was sent in the last conversation we had. It says the said circuit court judge in his whole debacle has become increasingly notorious for his conduct, remarks and handling of political matters. It is incumbent upon him to give serious consideration to the ethos, ethical standards, and public responsibilities inherent to the judicial service. Whilst Chairman Abronye's comment may be characterized as inflammatory, they did not in themselves warrant an order for his remand in custody. There's life after politics. Mancha Bruce brought this one in. First of all, good morning to Professor Isaac Body. It is always a pleasure listening to him. Anyway, for us in the NPP, if this government thinks by arresting Abronye and prosecuting leading members of our party will discourage us from wrestling power from the NDC, then they are joking. We will remain resolute and fight until the victory is won. Nana Kwame Boateng Ablekuma Central, aka Dr. Baumia, will be president in 2028. Now that does it for the previous conversation. Let's now have another conversation that really borders on our health. Now there is something called Streptococcus pneumoniae. I hope I got it right. Prof would put it right for us. Now it remains one of the leading bacterial causes of pneumonia, meningitis, bloodstream infections, and ear infections globally, particularly among children under 5 years, older, adult, and immunocompromised individuals. I mean, these are scientific words, right? I'll leave it to Prof to break it down for us. But globally, we understand an estimated 14.5 million severe pneumococcal disease episodes occur annually among children under 5 years, resulting in approximately 500,000 deaths, most occurring in low and middle income countries like ours, Ghana. That's why it's important that we talk about this. So today I have in studio Professor Nicholas TKD Daye. Is that right? Daye. Okay. And Prof is a professor of medical microbiology at the University of Ghana Medical School. Prof, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're going to have your inaugural lecture, right?
I had it.
Oh, you have it, and this was the topic?
No.
Hey, this wasn't?
No.
But why is this an important subject we need to talk about?
Well, this is very important, as you've rightly put it, that before I start, I would like to express my gratitude to the university authorities for making this arrangement for me to interact with the public. Indeed, this is a very important topic because, as you've rightly said, about 14.5 5 million episodes of pneumococcal disease were reported globally annually. And also 500,000 children under 5 died as a result of pneumococcal infections annually. So this is a great issue, and it has implications for us in Ghana.
Okay, so the thing you spoke on during your inaugural was when microbes speak and data appear inconsistent, are we witnessing falsehood or truth? Yes. Why? There are differences in terms of what you see under the microbes and what the data says?
Yes, okay. Sometimes. Okay. Sometimes two inconsistencies reveal what I would call insight. That is important for the scientists to help us plan. And sometimes also the inconsistencies as a result of what I would call methodological weaknesses in our diagnostic capacity. And thirdly, there is something we also called certain genes that the organism possess. They are not revealed until certain laboratory test conditions are set. So these three things could be at play anytime you're talking about data. And data is not truth. Data production must be engineered to produce truth. Okay. And as clinicians, we make use of accurate data to treat patients.
Okay. So in terms of this Streptococcus pneumoniae we're talking about here, the data we have says 40 million people, so 40 million severe pneumococcal disease episodes occur annually. Yes. Out of that, children under 5, 500,000 die.
Yes.
That's truth.
That's truth.
Okay. So how does it come about?
Okay, for the public to benefit from this discussion, permit me to give you a little bit of background. In our environment, there are two types of living things. We have those that are big enough for the naked eye to see, and we call them macroorganisms. And then there are those that are too small for the naked eye to see, except with the aid of a microscope, we call them microbes or microorganisms. The field of science that deals with microbes, we call it microbiology. And the scientist that handles microbes, we call them microbiologists. Now, in the field of microbiology, we have bacteriology, which is the study of bacteria. We have viruses, virology, which is a study of viruses, parasitology, which is the study of parasites, and mycology, which is the study of fungi. I am a bacteriologist. Okay. And in bacteriology, we deal with what we call commensals and pathogens. Commensals are normal flora that live with our cells. They help us to train our immune system. They help us in the production of vitamins. They help us in digestion and metabolism. And they also help us in case you pretend that you are dead. They help reduce your body to dust. Those are commensals. But the pathogens are microbes that cause disease. Now, the Streptococcus pneumoniae is a normal flora or a commensal that lives at the back of the throat or at the back of the nose. It lives there as a normal flora.
Okay.
And about 70 to 80% within a population from the age of 0 to 5 carry these organisms. Okay? Now, they are there.
So when we grow, so as you and I,
yes,
are they there or they are not?
They were there when we were younger.
But they are.
But as you grow older, by the age of 5, the courage decreases until you are 65 years old, and they come back.
Hey, okay.
Their job is to protect you from other virulent microorganisms that are very lethal. So that is why from 0 to 5, your immune system is not well developed, so they are there to train you. So by the age of 5, you would have a maturing immune system that can handle issues. So by that time, courage decreases. So we say that courage increases with a decrease in age, or courage decreases with an increase in age. So that's about the organism. Now, as they stay in the nasopharynx, or the back of the throat or the nose, certain conditions such as immunodeficiency, that is, if your immune system becomes weak as a result of malnutrition or HIV/AIDS, or you are on cancer therapy that reduces your immune system, this organism has opportunity to move from a normal flora to become a pathogen. So initially, the normal flora help us protecting us, but they can also become pathogen. How do they become pathogen? They move from the nasopharynx into the lungs, and the lungs are supposed to use for gaseous exchange. We breathe in oxygen, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. So the organ that enables you to be alive in terms of breathing is the lung. And these organisms, once they get into the lung, they have a thick capsule, so the body is not able to destroy them. So in the lung, instead of the lungs, the tiny sacs maintaining oxygen or removing carbon dioxide from the body, they are rather filled with fluids. So it leads to incapacitation of your lungs, which can result in death. Now, from the lungs, they can move into the blood, infecting your blood. And from the blood, they can enter the CSF, leading to meningitis. So Streptococcus pneumoniae causes two types of diseases. We have the invasive pneumococcal disease, and then we have non-invasive pneumococcal disease.
Common names for those.
The invasive, that is bacteria entering into sterile sites of the body.
No, I thought there were common names for those diseases. The two diseases you've mentioned.
Pneumonia.
Okay.
That is inability for your lungs to breathe.
Yeah.
Then meningitis.
Okay.
That is inflammation of the meninges, that is the membrane that is surrounding your brain.
Okay.
So those are the common names.
Okay. But so once we now know that when they get into the lungs, that's where they're able to do the things we're talking about. Is there any preventive measure?
Yes. Okay. We have a preventive measure and we have a curative measure.
Okay.
The preventive measure is the administration of vaccines early in life. In Ghana, the vaccine has been introduced in May 2012 for children under 2 years.
Okay.
It begins from 6 weeks and 4 weeks apart, 3 doses. So 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks. And then you are done.
Okay.
And that is supposed to protect you from invasive pneumococcal disease, as well as any other disease. And within the vaccine, I want to put it this way, the organism has got what we call a capsule, that's a coat. They keep changing the coat from time to time to evade your immune system. The essence of vaccination is a rehearsal. So because vaccines are preparations that are given to hosts or individuals in order to prepare you or to develop your immune system to fight against the real pathogen when they do come. So based on the coat that these organisms wear, there are over 100 different coats that they wear. So based on the coat, we've realized that you can produce vaccines against those that are most dangerous. We call the different subtypes of the pneumococci, we call them serotypes.
Okay.
And of the over 100 serotypes that are in existence, just a few of them, about 13 of them or 20 of them, that actually are involved in over 70 to 80% of the pneumococcal diseases. Because those that the vaccines are made against. And you can't just go for any other vaccine, like vaccine made in the United States or vaccine made in India or elsewhere. You have to make vaccines that agree with the serotypes that are circulating in Ghana, because geographical location determines the serotypes that are in circulation.
And the study on which you did your inaugural lecture was based on this?
No, it wasn't based on.
No, because I read that the study demonstrated concerning levels of antimicrobial resistance among invasive pneumococcal isolate. Is that something you have done in the past?
Yes, there's a current study we've done.
Okay.
And this study looked at pneumococcal serotypes in Ghana in invasive isolates. Let me give you a little background. In 2016, we conducted a carriage study. First, before you get the disease, pneumococcal disease, you must first carry the organism in the nasopharynx. Without carriage, there can never be invasive pneumococcal disease, because it's from the nasopharynx that the organism moves into the lungs, into the blood, and into the meninges to cause the 3 types of diseases I mentioned. Now, the study we did in 2016 and published in 2019 revealed that after the introduction of the vaccine, there are emerging non-vaccine serotypes. That means the serotypes are not included in the vaccine. So if they are not included in the vaccine and they're in the population, they can cause disease that the vaccine cannot protect you against. We observed that serotype 23B, which is not in the vaccine, was circulating in Ghana. Well, courage, we continue to do surveillance. And in 2026, our current data shows that this serotype 23B that we observed in 2016 and published 2019 has actually caused serious invasive disease. And we found it to be the second dominant serotype circulating in Ghana. It is not in our current vaccine. And the new vaccine that has also been made, called the PCV20, is also not in it. So if Ghana decides to move from PCV13, which we currently have, we are giving out, to maybe the latest vaccine globally, which is PCV20, that also does not contain this serotype 23B that is circulating in Ghana.
So we are administering vaccines that are not dealing with a major issue in Ghana.
Not necessarily so, but let me explain.
Okay.
When you give vaccines, it creates a vaccine pressure. Within the vaccine, you have certain serotypes within it. Those serotypes may be wiped out. Once they are no longer occupying the niche, other serotypes, remember I said we have over 100, replace those ones. So it's a phenomenon called serotype replacement.
Yes.
And sometimes we also have what we call capsular switching. The organism changed their coat. So capsular switching and serotype replacement are major means of outwitting the vaccines that we have. Now, over time, the vaccine 2012, over time, we've realized that there is an emerging serotype which is not in the vaccine. So that knowledge is supposed to guide either the Vaccine Institute or the policymakers to now include the current pneumococcal serotype that is not in the vaccine.
Yes, but this is what you found in 2016 and published in 2019, the serotype 23B.
Yes, in courage.
Yes.
But now
you found that it was there.
Yes.
2016 to today, you found that has even led to some invasive.
For the first time, it is for the first time we've noticed that the non-vaccine serotype has caused invasive disease.
Yes.
And is dominant now. So that information is supposed to help the policymakers either. So the current vaccine can't deal with that, but we have the curative option, which is the administration of antibiotics. So we cannot prevent the disease that 23B will cause by vaccination, but we can treat the infections that they cause. Unfortunately, we have rising antibiotic resistance to this particular pathogen.
The serotype 23B.
We've realized that 34% of the drug of choice is third-generation cephalosporin, such as sulfasalazine or ceftriaxone, documented in our standard treatment guideline. We've realized that in this current study, 2026 published data, we realized that 34% of the isolates are resistant to this drug, which is the main drug to be used in invasive pneumococcal disease.
When you say 34%, am I right to assume that then a certain percentage is not resistant to the medicine?
A certain percentage of this.
Okay. But if that's the case, why is a certain percentage of the microbial population not resistant to it, but 30-something% is resistant? Is there a difference in their DNA makeup? That's why. What is really causing?
Yes, there are different strains. There are different genotypes, and bacteria acquire resistant genes in order to become resistant. Even though that 34%, in 2013, when we did a study, only one organism was resistant. But 2013 now to 2016, it has increased, and 2026, it has now increased to 34%. And we've also seen 42% of all the isolates demonstrating multi-drug resistance. That means that they are resistant to 2 or 3 more classes of antibiotics. That reduces the doctor's capacity to select the best drug to treat infections. So surveillance is important. Constantly surveilling to find out which serotypes are not in the vaccine that are in circulation in Ghana? And what is the level of antibiotic resistance that they demonstrate? This is very important.
The reason I was curious earlier was that even 2016, you found serotype 23B to not be affected by the vaccine we're administering in Ghana. I believe that research is supposed to inform policy and the decisions we take. We have not been able to devise vaccines that handle that serotype. That even 2026, the vaccines we have, and you said something that even got me scared, that the higher one that has been developed still will not be able to tackle the serotype 23B.
Yes.
What are we then doing?
So this information is so important for the policymakers. Not to spend money going for the newer vaccine.
Yes.
Because it will not help solve our problem. What is important is let's resource our vaccine institute established so that they will have the capacity to produce the vaccine that is needed to cover the serotypes that are circulating in Ghana. So the alternative here means that, okay, you can't prevent, but you can treat.
So you decide whether you want to prevent or you want to treat. And even the treatment, that's another challenge there. Exactly. So what is our best way out of this?
In a short run, is antimicrobial chemotherapy. That's antibiotic therapy is the measure for 23B if they cause disease.
When you mention chemotherapy, my mind goes to
antibiotic therapy.
Okay. So we just have to give antibiotics to
when the person is properly diagnosed, then antibiotics can be used to treat the infection that they cause. In the long run, we need to resource our vaccine institute so that they are able to produce vaccines locally that will be able to cater for the serotypes that are in circulation.
But Prof, you mentioned that 23%, and in some areas 44%, 33%, and in some areas 44% are showing resistance to drug. You mentioned, I think, about 1, 2, 3 drugs. The bacteria are showing resistance to them. So even the immediate term that we want to treat, there's a challenge there.
Yes.
Because some of these bacteria are resisting the impact of the medications we give them. So how we delayed from 2016 to 2026, we couldn't find a solution to getting vaccines that will tackle this 23B serotype.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really...
Takes time. Research takes time, and the information, it takes time also for the policymakers to utilize it, because a lot of people come into play here. Remember, let me put it this way.
Unfortunately, Prof, you're not a policymaker, but when I see the number, 12, the number you said, 14 million severe pneumococcal disease episodes occur annually among children under 5, resulting in 500,000 deaths. This is global figures, right?
Global figures.
Yes. So as any policymaker should take this figure and say, once we are not able, our vaccine is not tackling serotype 23B, and this has been in existence for 10 years, we should probably within the 10 years have found a solution to it.
I should say that they are thinking about it. They are thinking about it. But let me let you know that the vaccine is not a failure.
Okay.
The vaccine has really, Ghana has really done well. The vaccine coverage is about 97%.
Okay.
That is great news.
Okay.
And the vaccine since 2012 to 2025 has averted 3.7 million episodes of pneumococcal disease. Secondly, it has also averted the death of 40,000 children under 5, and also averted 160,000 hospitalization. So Ghana is really, really doing well. We are high performance when it comes to pneumococcal vaccine utilization. But the kicker is this: there are emerging serotypes that are not found in the vaccine. So sustained...
That's apart from the serotype 23B,
yes,
there are emerging ones.
There are emerging ones.
Hey.
There are emerging ones. But the real issue in terms of the curative aspect that bothers me is antibiotic resistance.
So how do we solve that?
This is a huge issue, and it's called the silent pandemic. In 2019 alone, 1.27 million people died globally due to bacterial infections that demonstrate antibiotic resistance. In the same 2019 alone, about 5 million deaths were associated with infections caused by antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And by 2050, it's projected, if we move on this trajectory, 10 million people will lose their lives every year due to infections caused by antibiotic-resistant organisms. And Ghana is ranked 35th out of 204 as a country where antibiotic-resistant deaths are noted.
Hey, 35 out of 234.
Yes. That's our place. And this is caused by one of the organisms involved in the causation of death in Ghana is Streptococcus pneumoniae. It's one of them. Our huge problem is with diagnostics. We have a huge problem with diagnostics. You know, surveillance runs on diagnostics. If you don't have well-equipped laboratories, what happens is that your surveillance data will be inconsistent with what the microbes are saying. And surveillance data do a lot of things. One, it informs national policy on antimicrobial resistance. Surveillance informs antibiotic treatment guidelines, review of them. Surveillance help us also to improve antibiotic stewardship program as well as allocation of scarce resources.
Okay.
So if the diagnostics are not robust, it means surveillance data will not be robust enough, and it can lead to dangerous decisions when utilized. So it's important for government to help us resource our laboratories, resource the laboratories, make available reagents, consumables, training for laboratory workers.
So in 10 seconds, Prof, I wanted to speak to you directly. Watch into your mic and speak to government.
Your Excellency, we know that you are doing a lot for Ghana. We believe in you, and we know you can do more. The problem we have today in Ghana with respect with diagnostics is that we don't have well-equipped laboratories. We need your assistance. We don't want our health to be in the pocket of donors. We want local resources to be able to sustain our health, and we know you'll be able to do that for us.
Prof, I'm grateful to you. Thank you for coming. This has been an eye-opener. Professor Nicholas Tete, is it Tete? Kweku Jifadai is a professor of medical microbiology at the University of Ghana Medical School and a consultant bacteriologist with research interest in antimicrobial resistance. He recently delivered his inaugural lecture at the University of Ghana on the theme, When Microbes Speak and Data Appear Inconsistent, Are We Witnessing Falsehood or Truth? Prof, all the best to you.
Thank you.
But I'd love to have you again on the show.
To come here.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a break here. We have E-Corner for you. Noella Karin Yale is up next to thrill your screens, please. You know what? Stay fire. Don't go away.